Welcome everyone to the Solomon Nelson Christmas Special 2025. This is a project I've wanted to put together for a long time, and I'm genuinely thrilled that it's finally here. Today I'm joined by an incredible lineup of some of the most prominent, influential, and frankly, most interesting figures in the entire fitness industry. It was a surreal privilege to have them all in one place, and I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I did. I'm genuinely thrilled to see this actually happening. Hello, everyone.
I was not made aware of the hat protocol.
Yeah, well.
You have one, Broderick, perchance?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look festive enough, if I may, as you are.
Beard.
With the beard.
Beards do.
Yeah.
Take it off in solidarity.
That's nice of you, Alex. Well, as you can probably tell already, joining me today is a jaw-dropping lineup of the fitness industry's most prominent and fascinating figures. Why are they here? Well, two simple reasons. One, I think they're all absolutely brilliant. And two, they offered incredible kindness and support to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are all wonderful people. Now,
Except for Broderick. That guy don't like to cut his jib.
He's not so bad. What's wrong with Broderick?
He's not so bad, but yeah, I'll stop.
Yeah. I'm on a good day,
you're
I'm
okay.
ambivalent. On a bad day, I'm downright negative.
You're all right.
Broderick is a people person. If there's one thing I know about him, it's that he loves people. He loves to socialize. He thinks nothing but the highest of others.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, I do actually want to give Broderick a special welcome because I've never spoken with him before. He's a leading bodybuilding coach who's very open about being autistic, which I'd contend in Broderick's case is something of a superpower. He has a deep interest and these penetrating insights in steroids and coffee, which is his other pet interest. He will, however, be the first to tell you that he's not really much of a podcast guy. So I'm very appreciative of the fact that he's
This
able
is true.
to
If I may, when Solomon invited me, I suspect he had every suspicion I was going to say no, and I responded with, "Yeah, I'll do that." And he quickly responded with like, "Wow, I didn't expect that. You must owe Lyle a blood debt." And the truth is, and I know this is almost ass sniffing at this point, but the truth is, I actually kind of view it that way.
Jeffrey Verity Schofield is joining us all the way from China. He's a real trooper. I mean, what's the time, Jeffrey?
Is that why you look like you just woke up?
I did just wake up. Yeah, it's like 6:09 a.m.
Oh,
and I'm not a morning person.
Yeah, you're not a morning guy.
I feel kind of bad about that. I feel as if I'm potentially biting into your gains because you're a phenomenal natural bodybuilder, and
There's a cure for that. That's treatable.
Well, Jeffrey is a longtime friend of the channel. I'm glad he was able to make it.
Can anybody hear me?
Oh yeah, hey,
Chris Jones.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Am I too loud or nothing like that? Am I?
No.
Okay. I don't do these often. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Cool.
My friends used to quote you in high school.
I remember Scott from the Real World days. I remember watching you on there.
Shit.
They haven't invited me to do a challenge. I think they're scared.
Folks, to kick things off, we have a lot of veteran bodybuilders and strength athletes on the panel.
Wow.
Do you have any funny, perhaps slightly insane Christmas stories from when you took bodybuilding way too seriously? I dare say most of you would have, right? Like bringing Tupperware to the Christmas table.
Wow.
Anything of the sort.
I mean, I purposely always scheduled that time to be able to fuck around for that reason.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you raised that.
I never did professional bodybuilding like you guys and went on stage, but I would bring a cooler every single day to class in college, and kids would just make fun of me for it, just for having this cooler with all my food in it. And it was mainly just so I could eat, because I was working full time, training at the gym, and I would go back and forth, class train. And people just would like, hey, wow, there's your cooler. What's inside there today? Oh, the same shit you had yesterday. Like, it's easy to make pasta and chicken. Like, it's just easy. Bagels and peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
Like, that was the old school fun.
Mm.
But
I mean, I have something pretty ridiculous. It wasn't quite Christmas, but whenever I bartended and waited tables at Buffalo Wild Wings forever, which is kind of a sports bar, and not really healthy food, and I was competing and being really on top of it. Whenever I was starting 16, I used to carry around like a Ziploc bag of tuna, just so I could like kind of dip into it whenever I needed to, because I couldn't get the fried food. I kind of just eat it on the go, and I would just use my hand.
Do you mean like plain tuna? Like
yeah,
you get those packets now?
Yeah, I would get the big can and just have it in there, and I would just reach it. And then all the bartenders, they used to call me Pocket T.
Right. Oh god.
This is before it already came in a pouch.
Yeah.
This is before the battle.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, you could have been a millionaire, man. You could have invented pocket pouch tuna.
You chase it with some gum after, right? Like tuna, then some gum. Wash your hands.
Just drink some
I can
Coke
offer a
and,
story, but I have to obfuscate the names. But people that were quite famous in the time frame. I graduated high school in 1990. And I'm only bringing that up because I remember it was the Christmas after that year. So it was the Christmas of 1990, and some really top level powerlifters and strength athletes, pinnacle people, were in the Washington D.C. area, and they had a meetup, and other people, family members. It was kind of like this. It was just a festive thing, and top of the totem pole person told me, hey, run out to the car and get that Tupperware container with the deviled eggs. I'm an idiot. I ran out to the first Tupperware container I see. I grab and I run in and put it on the table and fuck off. Well, I didn't grab the deviled egg Tupperware container. I grabbed the container full of drugs container. And so come dinner time, all the tops are torn off of all these things.
Oh, no.
And it's, meatloaf and sponge cake and then drugs, and just every which way sticking out, and we're like, that's wrong. And so I run in and grab it and run out like a pseudo football player. But that happened.
Nice.
Cutting is crazy enough as it is. Like, I always have respect for the guys that do that, because I'm on the opposite. Like, I'll gain, I'll get up to 30% body fat and then try to cut weight for the weight class below. Like, that's what I do. But I don't know how the hell, Jonathan, you did that work. You did a restaurant. I served for years. I worked like at Macaroni Grill and IHOP. I worked at Yard House, but I would get like a Thai chicken pizza and fold it in half, and I'd just be taking the whole thing down. So my lifts just kept going up. I have no idea how someone can bodybuilding prep working at Buffalo Wild Wings. That's nuts.
To me personally, I don't necessarily have a crazy Christmas story, because I grew up around a lot of bodybuilders, and I saw the relationships that don't work because you're too into it. You're not making no money doing it. I've learned a long time ago, women they're not so gracious with your bodybuilding goals, especially if it's not making no money. Now,
that's true.
So what I did to kind of escape that loop, I would bulk around that time. And then when summer gets close, cut down. Because I believe in seasons, kind of like we're in the holiday season,
Right.
So I don't have any crazy stories, but I've seen so many that I was able to avoid. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, Chris, because when I met my wife, she's like literally, she told me the first couple times we went out to dinner, she was waiting to see what I would order to see if I was like one of those psychotic guys.
I like that. Actually, my wife knew all the baggage that came with me, so I don't have any of those stories.
What were you going to say, Ella?
Oh, I was just gonna say I haven't done bodybuilding yet. I've competed in powerlifting once, but mostly taekwondo. So I would carry around a ton of like just broccoli and whitefish, because I couldn't afford anything else in my calorie range, because I was like always cutting down to the weight class below me.
You have more grace now that you're a strength athlete.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer because I can actually eat it.
I like that Chris Jones raised that he would do these strategic bulks throughout the Christmas period, which kind of ties into another question I had, which was, I've got a panel here of some of the fittest people on planet Earth. I wanted to ask you guys, because this will hopefully provide some value to the viewer. how do you guys do damage control, so to speak? I mean, do you punish yourself in the days leading up to Christmas? Do you punish yourself in the following days? Do you control your portions on the day, like are you the Grinch? Or do you bulk strategically, like Chris Jones?
I just eat relatively to maintain my weight, and I'm pretty much good because I'm always fluctuating around like 5 pounds or so. So I don't really take anything too seriously.
I think when I was younger, I was probably super crazed about it, and then I got older and realized it didn't matter. I think my only real neurosis is like, okay, we're having Christmas dinner. I got to work out today. You know, like give the calories somewhere to go. Like I'm like, if I'm gonna be eating, I might as well go get in a hard workout, find a gym that's open somewhere, and just that was I think about. And then I would that coupled with it's Christmas and I like chocolate, so screw it. You can always diet later, like Chris was saying. when your mom or your girlfriend or whatever wants to feed you, you don't go, I'm gonna need plain chicken breast and rice. That unless you want to be single.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
I'd always play my rebound.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm about to talk about. I'll wait. Go ahead, brother. My bad.
Oh no! I would always plan the rebound purposely so I could just go as nuts as possible, and then if I ever go overboard, like I'm a big fan of just fasting. Like I'm fine to fast for a day or half a day, or maybe you do some of Lyle's protein modified.
That's what I'm gonna do this year. Is just like kind of RFL it, and we've got family dinner, Christmas Eve, and then Christmas brunch, and I'm like I'm gonna eat, so I'll just. Damage control will just be other meals. I'm not going to sit there and measure out food or, do something crazy like take a food scale to a restaurant. I'm looking at you, Solomon, just saying.
No, I'm actually going to take my food scale to the Christmas lunch in a few days.
Are you trying for something, or is this just OCD?
No. He's
just
nuts. OCD or autism or neurosis. I don't know.
As long as you're not taking it to Target to get the best Pokemon packs, like leave the kids alone in the holiday season.
Look, I mean, people don't care as much as you'd think.
Maybe not now. Y'all will appreciate this. My old training partner, when I first moved to Austin, he was nuts. Like he was back in the super low fat days. If he went to a restaurant, he'd be like, chicken, do not cook it in oil. And just in case, he would dip it in a glass of water and blot it just to make sure, like out at a restaurant. And he didn't care. Bodybuilding is like Chris was saying. When bodybuilding is your life, nothing else matters. And screw anybody can't handle it. It's probably why he got divorced. But anyway,
I think it's just treated as a big refeed, right? Like it's like a month of just eating like shit, and you might gain a little bit, and then you get dialed back in, and you feel better. Plus, most of us will train really hard up until the point we know we're going on vacation, or it's going to be the holidays. And just use that time to literally get resensitized to muscle damage, right? Like, that's the way I've always seen it, and it's made me feel better. So,
or just take DNP.
Oh wow!
Especially in the winter. I'm down.
It's hard to tell when to jump in this shit. I wanted to throw something in because although I was able to kind of avoid these issues just watching others, I've coached so many people. And, I don't coach everybody I coach doesn't have my situation. So I have many answers, like for an example, if it's only one day of eating like shit, right? I'm sorry about the language. I can use that word in here.
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, because you got to keep reminding everybody different. All right. So if it's only like one day of eating like shit, right? I would play, if I'm trying to stay lean, use the science to your advantage. We know the muscles are like a sponge. You get really sensitive by going low carb that whole week, like a show.
Yep.
Go very low carb that whole week till your body's begging and craving them carbs, right? And that way, when that day you eat like shit, you really just wake up more pumped and full. And then get right back to the grind.
For that, Chris?
You say what?
You have a scientific study you can quickly show on
oh, yeah.
Just to make sure,
Technically,
oh shit, sorry.
Technically, skeletal muscle is the one that is it like 80% in like a euglycemic hyperinsulinemic clamp is going towards muscle. So muscle is like the responder to insulin and the responder to sugar. So there's that.
That's the number one target tissue, of course.
Mm-hmm. Lilly 1987 Lilly lecture trifecta.
Yeah. say I just learned that from experience. Just people always say, "Man, after my show, I look so much fuller." I'm like, "Why don't you just do what you did the day before? Why do a lot of posing the day before the show? Then, on the days where you're filling out, after every meal, pose. If you know you look fuller the day after, like
that's the equivalent of the 10-minute walk.
I learned a lot of this stuff just from experience. Even though I didn't experience some of these things, I've guided people through them and learned with them.
Absolutely.
Greg, you've competed in some 50+ bodybuilding shows, right?
59.
59.
That's nuts.
That's, more than, anyway, that's.
I've never dieted. I've never dieted
undoubtedly-
over Christmas, and I
Never.
feel like listening to all these stories, I have more balance than almost anyone would ever expect for being a weird guy.
Right.
I've never had to struggle. I do a lot of cardio. I can eat whatever I want. I actually right now struggle to get enough calories in because I did 60-kilometer bike races 3 days in a row, so I'm almost always bike riding. So I might have a history of lifting weights, but I lift weights twice a week and I bike ride every day.
Nice.
So I have a hard time. I eat nuts all the time now to get calories in. So I don't suffer from any of this stuff. I have normal balance. I do cardio. If I eat too much, my hunger would go down. I would burn the calories off doing cardio. So cardio is key. If people don't do cardio, like they're just missing out. It's so much easier to have the lean physique that you want if you do cardio. It's like I can't explain how easy it is.
Well, especially
that's kind of where I
cycling.
am. Eating calories.
I rode bikes for years. Like running, you can't. But like a 4-hour bike ride, you're like, yeah, I just burned 3,000, 4,000 calories. If you're going hard, you can eat anything, and get away with it. Run, but then people are like, well, I ran for 30 minutes. I'm like, I have bad news for you. You don't have to carb load after that. You should eat a couple apples, maybe a couple apples. So yeah, cycling is a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
I love running and walking. The walking pad that I recently got has been I've been low-key burning out the motor. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. Cardio is definitely a tool for sure. You got to keep in mind everybody's work schedule, life schedule, amount of passion, things that interest them is all different. Greg's built different. We got to keep that in mind too. Get his world record, pro card. Like everybody's not built like that.
Well, Solomon, I think a lot of this is Solomon. A lot of this is age. All of us did the crazy stuff when we were younger, like you are, and then we all got older and realized it didn't really matter that much in the big picture, or we just got too tired to do it. So,
no, I still do crazy shit. Don't take that from me.
Fine.
Are you allowed to mention any of that on air, Broderick?
I mean, what manner of crazy are you interested in? Training, nutrition, or farm? Because I definitely have a lane for each of them.
I mean, all of the above.
If
you ever combined the three in one unbelievable cocktail.
I'm sure that I have, but nothing jumps to mind. But I recently just posted a pretty significant squat sessions. Even despite being 50 years old and crippled, I'm still squatting into 600s.
Wow.
And surprise, it takes drugs to do that, boys and girls. So yeah, I still take those as well. Considerably less than I did once upon a time, but Lyle knows I've done everything wrong that a person could do.
Haven't we all?
Some for funny and some because I knew no better at the time.
I seem to recall, Broderick, that you once stated that you wake up every day surprised that you're still alive.
This is correct.
Yeah.
My very first thought when I sleep, and it's not every day, but my very first thought is, nuh-uh, because it just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question, Solomon. For anyone in the group that is, let's just say, less than natural, would you ever just increase your doses during the holidays to help partition those extra calories?
That's what I was saying on the rebound. So I used to schedule the show Excalibur in California, which is like a couple of weeks before Christmas. So yeah, I would keep it going for 2 weeks and just blow up huge.
But Greg, I saw you nodding your head. No, you've never done that.
I was just curious. No. Okay.
I'm the same thing. I'm similar to Greg. I've never done anything at all during holidays. It's if I had a show, most of the time when I was competing, if I was doing the Arnold Amateur or I was getting ready for prep, I just like it for me. It's like the days don't outweigh all the work you're doing. So if I'm like, 90% on track all the time, then I eat for 2 days and I'm not going crazy anyway. It's like, it just doesn't really make a difference, So I've never had to do some kind of, Christmas coming and then, schedule things around that. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
I dare say, as an elite bodybuilder, you would, to some degree, have the blinders on during the holiday season, Thanksgiving, anything, where your focus is your sport. You don't really.
You just got. It's like for me. It's just like enjoy and own it. Don't be extreme about it, and just
right.
Like it's like there's a goal. It's like I can eat and not. I think most people when it comes to holidays, they get it's like oh god, holidays are here. They're already like premeditating. They're gonna blow it basically, or they're gonna eat way more than they need to. And it's like for me, it's like I'm gonna go and eat and enjoy it. And when I'm done. And then if the gym's open during Christmas, I'll go to the gym like I normally do. I'll do my normal cardio and just do that. But yeah, for me, it's never been even like Christmas, Thanksgiving. It was just eat and chill.
Johnny, like I like eating like ham, like honey glazed ham and turkey, right? That's usually what we have around Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so for me, like I'm overloading on the protein anyways. And then by the time I get to like the sweets or whatever, it's like, well, I'm not getting as much because I'm so full because I ate like 13 pounds of turkey on Thanksgiving or whatever.
Right.
Because that's what I enjoy the most anyways. And I guess that makes it easier too.
Right. Yeah, if I was going home for Christmas, we'd have chicken, turkey, ham, beef ribs, steak. I'm eating that stuff. I'm loving that. And collard greens, love it. I don't like stuffing. I like the baked beans with the bacon on it. And my mom makes it just like I don't know, it's candy. I have a little bit of that, but for the most part, I'm just eating just meat and greens, and then some of the carb stuff. But yeah, I'm like you. God, I like the protein.
Man,
well, let's see everyone else here.
If we were
make
eating
a beeline for the lean protein.
Yeah.
Well, if we were eating in a different country, we wouldn't get fat anyways. It's just in America where you just get fat eating like air. So if I was in Brazil, my wife's country, I could eat probably everything they had for 2 weeks and I would lose weight and get shredded.
I got a question for the bodybuilding panel because it's like a rare opportunity I have because I spent my entire competitive career in strong where nobody gives a shit about body fat. Everybody takes the holidays to bloat up for the Arnold in 3 months. They just come in 30 pounds heavier than they are the rest of the year. And it's always sparked this debate in my head because I always competed at the 231s. So it was always like, okay, should I keep a foot there? Should I get bigger? What should I do? Do you guys believe that it is limiting for long-term strength and muscular growth to try to keep your body fat down as opposed to kind of perma-bulk fat yourself the way that so many guys do?
I've been literally 15% body fat for like the last 15 years, maybe more than that. And I've been able to gain. I mean, I've lived with Greg, and he's taken my body fat. I don't think I've went any higher than 15 ever. So it's like, and I've been able to grow. I've been, when I first started bodybuilding, I was 217 as a football player natural. Then when I got on stage, I was 225. And then I got up to as big as 265 to 70 and still 15% body fat within that range every single time. So it was never like, I've never had to like bulk. For me, it just didn't make any sense. It wasn't comfortable. I hated eating too much in the off season. Like I like food, but like off season stuff for me, especially when I was coached by other coaches like Matt Jansen, I hated monotonous eating. Chicken, broccoli, and rice and stuff. Like it was, I ate more similar to like Greg for the most part, and it was just easier that way and easier to stay in shape and easier to diet too. So when you go down, prepping, it's not as hard on your body. It's already hard enough doing drugs and whatnot, but like going down from 50% down as far as you can to close to 5-ish%, that's easier than going from like 20%. Like every percent higher than that sucks. Yeah.
I mean, do you have the DEXA scan proof, Johnny? The last 15.
Science.
I got I did. I mean, if DEXA scan, I was probably 8% body fat then. So yeah.
I am not a competitive bodybuilder, but I coach lots of them, and of course, my world is drugs. Pitch that cardio, to Greg's point, is essentially the antidote to most of the negatives of drugs. So I kind of pitch it as the carrot and the stick, that, you know, the only way to get bigger is probably more drugs, and the only way to do more drugs is to almost certainly do more cardio to build up the reserve to survive it. So getting fat is very hard when you're doing lots of drugs and lots of cardio.
Right.
So I would argue that no, that's not a thing.
Yeah, I would say you never want to go over 15% body fat as a man, or 10% more than you're going to be competing at, because it's just utterly useless. It's going to make it too hard to get in shape. You just don't want to do that. And I'd say I probably did more steroids than anyone on this panel. And I can say that I haven't done them aside from HRT for 6 years. And I'm way leaner now. I'm under 10% all the time for 6 years straight. And it's cardio. And so cardio above all is way better. I just had my blood work done from AlgoRx, and I'm like excessively healthy blood work, which is surprising and shocking for a guy that abused steroids at the level that I did for 10 plus years. So I think cardio is why I'm as healthy as I am. And I think that if people don't do it, they're missing out on the #1 low-hanging fruit that they should be doing to live a long and healthy life.
Right.
It's going to make it so easy to be lean. And if you're not fat, you're just going to live longer. So, I mean, I just preach it so much. And I'm actually shocked that I do as much cardio as I do, and I lift as little weights as I do, and I'm still only on 140 milligrams of test, which most people don't believe. And I'm able to keep as much muscle as I have. And so I'm personally shocked that I have this much muscle at 50, hardly taking steroids at all, and doing 2 days a week of lifting weights and 7 days a week of cardio.
Yeah.
You just know your body, man. You know your body because you spent so much time doing shows and training, and you've done the research. You just know. And that's what I feel like a lot of these young generation, they get into the gym, they train for 3 months, they get their hands on whatever they can. They don't even know their bodies yet. They don't even know what training hard is yet. And I see it all the time in my gym. I go to my local Crunch, and it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, you don't even know how to push past your limits, and you're already doing all this crazy stuff. So, Greg, I think you just like Chris Jones was saying earlier, like, I learned by doing, and you have to do it a lot and do it hard to learn your body. So that's awesome that you're able to maintain on such low doses.
Yeah, you're inspired me. I'm going to do one more hard prep and then just really push it and become a cyclist after. How many miles are you doing a week? What's it take to get that blood work looking really good?
Yeah, you don't want to
Well,
know.
I've done over an hour and a half every day for 4 days straight, hard in races, like competitive. I'm burning like 1,500 calories a day, probably on the bike, roughly here. It's hard.
How long does it take to get used to the seat? Because
you'll never get used to the seat.
You just your balls just go numb.
Like I did a charity bike ride years and years ago. It was from San Francisco to LA. It was like 7 days. And I had never rode a bike before. I can't.
7 days of riding and you're not used to it? Yeah, that's not
dude, I had raspberries on the inside of my thighs. I was like, fuck this bike. I never rode it ever again.
You have to get good shorts, chamois softener, and
butt butter. You need all that stuff.
And tough up your skin, and get one of the seats that has little things in so your nuts don't go numb.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned the seat, Scott, because I was just about to mention lots of cardio people overlook the taxing on the tissue, the connective tissues. There's the feet, the knees, all that. Even with biking, you gotta have good technique. So again, at certain levels, like you're doing hour plus cardio, you better make sure your form's on point and all that. Greg's a master at what he does. The average client I have, they'll probably destroy their joints trying to do an hour, 2 hours of cardio, ass be sore. Then they got to go to work.
Yeah.
Probably got to look after their kids. You got to have energy for that. That's why I like bulking, because I noticed when I'm very lean, I don't have as much energy to do regular stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm taking my daughter from school, going to her place, dealing with other parents. Right? And they want to talk, and they talking about regular shit you got to really focus and listen to. And I think so many competitors overlook that because they don't live the average everyday life.
Yeah.
I came up going to Walmart, working in daycares, so I, even though I didn't have a lot of experiences, I know people that do.
Right.
If that makes any sense again.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
No, I get that with consults all the time. Like, typical bodybuilders like, all right, you can eat 6 mini meals, you're going to train 5 days a week. It's like, go deal with people in the real world that have family, kids, a work that this is not their life. You know, you can't say do an hour of cardio every morning fasted. It's not going to happen. If I can get them doing lifting 3 days a week, doing 30 minutes 3 times a week, that's pretty good. And if they've got a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever who wants to go out to eat, like, you have to take that into account. And hardcore bodybuilders just are like, no, you just don't do that.
No days off
because your goals are important. Yeah, no days off. Exactly.
Yeah, Lyle, I finally got my wife to start doing some fasting because I started doing it in February and I've had really great results with it. Actually, speaking of the running, Chris, I've been having like pain in my ankles and it would just never go away. And after like 2 months of fasting, the inflammation went away. I haven't had a problem since. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm the kind of person where like I like to repeat the same joke over and over again until it gets annoying. That's how I like and with my wife and my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, but my wife would make it like mention something, and I'm like, yeah, it's the fasting. Yeah, just to keep driving that seed. And then she's finally started doing it, and she started doing it for like a month and a half. Didn't tell me, and she's like, I got to tell you something. I started fasting, and I feel great.
Dude, it really does some crazy stuff. What I found this year, people aren't going to believe me. I know Snitch is going to want some citations for this. You're not going to find citations, but I have found, well, this year and last year when I do multi-day fast, has to be multi-day, can't be during the day, but I have to get at least into the second day, usually like 40 hours. If I'm coming down with a cold or my kids have a cold and I do a multi-day fast, I don't get it. And it can even be where I start to get like the throat gets sore. If I can get into the second day, I kick it. It's happened more than it's been over 10 times at this point. I dodged one recently that it had my family down for like a month and I managed to kick it with a 48-hour fast. So it does some it does a lot.
You're not feeding the virus? Is that a thing, Ella?
No.
I want to know. I really want to know
how this shit works.
Here's the thing. There's no research directly on it, but there's no research directly on it. It's not that the research disproves it. It's that it's just there isn't any research on it. Probably, obviously, I mean, what would be the incentive to research that?
I'm very.
I'm gonna have to talk to
a group of 10 guys.
Like bacterial infections, not the viruses. That's why for me, the holidays, like I'm counting on the holidays to make the bulk work because every time my oldest is in kindergarten, so every time the kids get sick, it's like, God damn it, I gotta fast so I don't come down with this. So I'm counting on all that holiday food to actually try to make my bulk work and actually make some gains this year. It's kind of functional for me. It's been kind of hard with the regularity of colds.
How many kids do you have, Atlas?
It's cool to have to not get sick.
How many kids do you
How
have,
many
Atlas?
kids you got?
Oh, sorry. I've got 3. My youngest is 10 months, 3-year-old, and then a 5-year-old in kindergarten. So we're kind of
awesome.
as far as
busy.
Yeah.
Busy man.
I'm gonna have to talk
My
to you.
oldest is
I don't do
as old as everyone on the panel except Lyle.
My
My oldest is 32.
No,
my 1-year-old's been
me and Jeff.
daycare. We just put him in 6 months ago, and he's been sick every other week since he started.
Oh yeah.
And I'll roll chicken bones at this point. Like, I don't care about this site. If you have something that can keep us from getting sick throughout the rest of the year, I'm going to give it a shot at this point. Whatever that protocol is,
you try fasting, dude.
It happens. They just cough in your mouth and use your immune system. Nothing you can do about it, man.
I don't care how much misinformation I have to spread right now. It's like,
Alexander, you just get 3 tablets of like that airborne shit, right? And just, here you go.
Just vitamin C. That's it.
Yeah.
Zinc. And I'm
Zinc,
good.
yeah, bathe in zinc.
What I used to do back in the day, which kind of worked not as well as fasting, was raw garlic. I mean, that is actually scientifically supported to work, but you have to have it kind of before you get the symptoms. And also, it'll make you get divorced. So if that's something that's kind of
You try Anadrol, and it doesn't seem to do anything for the cold, but I feel great.
Everything's better on Anadrol, so it doesn't even matter.
But that does mean the garlic work because the garlic leads to divorce, and then divorce leads to her taking the kids, and no kids means you don't get sick. Science.
Oh, there you go.
QED, right? Like that, it does work.
Does DMSO fall in that category?
Probably.
Oh
That
God.
makes you stink of garlic, right? Like not.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, garlic and asshole. Like it's a hybrid specialized flavor that.
Wait, somebody's taking DMSO?
No,
Back in
he
the
was
90s,
asking.
we used to rub that from head to fucking
Oh,
toe. Oh yeah, that was an anti-inflammatory. We rubbed that on our balls. We didn't care.
Crush up the ibuprofen and sprinkle it in, and then smear it around.
Duchenne used to use it for his formulas. He's like, we're gonna make like a topical state, as long as it can get through the skin, DMSO, as long as it's small enough, DMSO will get it in there.
Finaplex.
I've heard of
Finaplex, distill it, smear it in DMSO, rub it on your fucking ass cheeks. Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm sure Brian can confirm this. I heard some people back in your day in your era of powerlifting would just rub coke in it and just use cocaine and DMSO and miracle powerlifting drug.
Cocaine's a fantastic.
Y'all are crazier than bodybuilders by far.
You guys are crazy. Oh my god.
It's just different kind of crazy.
Oh my god. My first introduction to DMSO was in the laboratory, and somebody told me, hey, make sure you don't put too much DMSO when you're reconstituting. I believe it was like isoproterenol or something for an experiment. And they go like, yeah, don't put too much DMSO because you're going to kill all your cells.
Nice.
So like, you guys are just talking about DMSO and like rubbing it on your skin. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
Well, lifting's pretty important, so.
The best part though is never mind like all the weird heavy metals and bacteria and all the shit you're driving through your dermal barrier into your body. The best part is, as Lyle said, it smells terrible, but when you radiate back that smell, it's terrible to the fifth power.
Oh, I know it smells.
You smell like walking like a bucket of fermented assholes. Like it's just awful.
Broderick, why do you know what a bucket of fermented?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
How do you have that comparative?
It smells like the cheesemonger died and left his.
I've lived a hard life in a lot of odd places.
That's every bathroom at Nationals. So.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something Chris Jones said earlier, which was basically we have a lot of elite athletes here, and elite athletes don't exactly lead normal everyday lives. And I don't want the viewers at home to think that they have to live like a monk to see results. Do you think there are any sort of hardcore habits, as it were, that you think are a mistake for beginners to adopt when they're just starting up? Because undoubtedly some of the viewers here, they might have New Year's resolutions. They might just be getting into the gym. What are some notions we might want to disabuse them of, Scott?
All the boutique exercise bullshit, I think, is the worst thing that social media has brought to bodybuilding, and I would love to hear everybody else talk about this.
I know Johnny will agree.
Stupid exercises that literally I never thought social media would get to a point. And Chris Jones, you can chat on it because we and I have been on this thing forever. There's a video of Chris Bumstead doing a cable extension, and now all of a sudden everybody's making a video of a single arm. It's like, bro, your arms aren't even big enough to do a close grip bench press. Like, get away from the boutique exercises, go to what works, go back to the basics, lift as heavy as you can, experiment, with drop sets, supersets, whatever. Just literally go back to basics. For me, Solomon, it's the boutique, stupid exercises that people are just trying to do because they need to hit the YouTube algorithm or the Instagram algorithm or whatever it is.
I don't disagree.
So I definitely want to take this one. Because unlike probably everybody else, I've pretty much done that. I'm here because of gains that I made as a new father with small kids and changing careers, trying to start this full time. And honestly, all the lifestyle shit that they talk about, like you have to get a bunch of sleep, you have to, track your calories, eat this or that diet. You have to get your obviously the nonsense like cold plunge, reduce stress, all this other nonsense. I haven't done any of that. What I've done is just pay attention to the exercise and get the exercise right, and then get the calories right. If we're bulking, we're just eating more. I don't have to track it or anything, but I just eat more, and then we're cutting, we just cut. I like to use a lot of fasting, but then, also just, eating nutrient-dense food. But I'm not doing any of this lifestyle stuff that so many people preach that you have to do. And I think for regular folks, that's so crucial because it seems like such a big time commitment when you look at all the stuff that you see on reels that I do this, I do that, then, but in reality, it's just commit to your workouts, which might be 4 hours a week. And then just eat more or less. None of the other nonsense matters.
Atlas's results speak. You were going to say, Ella.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's important that we all remember that fitness isn't necessarily, it's not going to be easy per se, but it's also pretty simple, like following the recommended guidelines for like 150 minutes of moderate or 75 minutes of vigorous cardio per week, getting approximately 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram or pound of body weight, whatever you really want to do. It's not that serious. Getting relatively some carbohydrates before you exercise, training to failure. Like it's like doing exercises you enjoy, emphasis on enjoy. It's not as mind twisting as a lot of people think. And it's a lot of just like common sense. It's not as like, you don't need fancy diets. You definitely don't need like a ton of supplements, like maybe caffeine and maybe creatine if you really want to go down that way, but like it's not that.
Caffeine's a nutrient, isn't it?
It's I think it's like for me it's because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. So I went from, you know, I would say full-time bodybuilder, whatever, pro, and then now, you know, kid, family, busy ass life. So I can't do the whole, you know, go to the gym for X amount of hours, spend the whole, you know, week there, 6 days a week, this and that. So for me, when I look at, you know, fitness, it's become this like thing that everyone's made so damn difficult for no reason. And it's probably the easy, I shouldn't say easy, because like, you know, it's creating habits, number one, but it's how you create those habits that make it easy. So when you have someone that's like, I'm going to go to the gym, they said they have to go to the gym 6 days a week. It's like, you're not going to go to the gym 6 days a week if you're not going to the gym at least 1 day a week. So like go to the gym when you have the time to go. So if your schedule allows you to go to the gym 3 days a week, go to the gym 3 days a week. Try and get your cardio in. Don't try and do everything at once. If your diet's not that good, don't try and track all of your calories. If you're not, you know, eating X amount of meals, at least try to eat 3 a day. You know, like take it slow and, you know, try and make things work for you, because not like everyone's trying to do what everybody else is doing. Just like, you know, watching Chris Bump said, he did a video or does an exercise. I'm doing that because Chris does this. So now I'm going to do it. And it's like, well, that might not work for you. So do the things that actually work for you that are like super simple. Get the low hanging fruit stuff first, nail those habits in, and then maybe venture off to some, you know, some nuances, whatever. But like nobody has the basics nailed down. Everyone's made training the most difficult thing in the world. I watched a video today on like, you know, Mal put a video out about the what's the best training split. And those are pretty good. Those are a video. But for me, it's like the best training split is one that you actually have time for. If you got kids and family and a career, you can't go to the gym as many times you want to go to the gym a week, right? So the best training split for you is the one that you have the time for. The best diet for you is the one you can stick to. You know, that's what fitness should be, but it's turned into this overly complicated, fashionable fucking
Well, I feel like everybody wants a guru. Like every new fitness person feels like they have to have one person that they get all the info from and inundate themselves with that same kind of like mindset, which I think obviously you've done a great job of making it so it's not that way anymore. So I think a lot of people will be way more hesitant to find one guru where they get all the information from. But yeah, I see that as being like a very, very common problem with these new guys that are.
Well, the thing is, this isn't new. Like I and Broderick are old enough. Muscle magazines did the same thing. It was just once a month. As soon as Men's Fitness ran their Power Clean article, everyone would be doing power cleans, shitty power cleans, but power cleans, because that was the secret exercise. And then Ken Leisner called it muscle, and then the internet started, and then they start, you know, T Nation ran 3 articles, and 7 a day, and then we got Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and if you're not posting 18 times a day, you're not feeding the algorithm, and it's like there's nothing to talk about. You know, the basics aren't sexy, but even these fuckers that are putting up all this super complexity, they're like, that's not what they did to get big. Like none of y'all, even if you were going down that road, like what they all did the same basic shit to get to where they are, but they have to be like, oh yeah, this new tricep exercise, the one arm crossbody, reverse grip, whatever, doubled my triceps. Like, no, it didn't. You just did close grips and push downs and nose breakers like everyone else on a basic 4-day split and got the basic. Because, you know, Solomon's question about elite athletes, what should they or on the one hand, elite athletes are looking for the last 1%, but most of what they do is the basics well and consistently.
Yeah.
That's not sexy. The best power lifters are not they're just doing the basics well and consistently. But then beginners, yeah, like Johnny said, Get to the gym 3 days a week. I see people like, I want to train 5. I'm like, you're going to aim for 5 and you're going to get 3 anyway, and then feel like a failure. Aim for 3 and get 3. That's, if you can't get it done in 4, you're doing something probably wrong until you're at the elitist. I'm putting up a video tomorrow about back training. I'm like, you do not need an exercise to hit the lower border of the rhomboids major, because none of y'all have backs big enough to fucking worry about it. You need a bigger back, right? Just learn how to do rows and pull downs and do that for 3 or 4 years. And when you step on stage, you can worry about that. But that doesn't get engagement. And it's just that simple, unfortunately.
I say the same thing, Lyle. Like, all these influencers, they do their real workout, and then they're like, "All right, now I gotta make some bullshit up to make."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Solomon,
Here's how you get a big chest. 3 variations of a chest fly.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
I'd like to mention that 3 days a week is technically the exercise guidelines. And just to mention, like, only around a quarter of Americans, I don't know how it is in Canada or China where Joffrey's from, but only around a quarter of Americans follow the exercise guidelines. So you really shouldn't be downing on yourself for getting 3 days a week, because that's an achievement when compared to the average American. Same thing goes for like dietary guidelines. Only 10% of people follow them. So like, if you're achieving that,
you're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So like, congratulate yourself for even getting that at least.
Solomon, may I weigh in on this?
Of course, brother.
Fitness thing, and it's really by way of pop out. I want to point out that I don't do fitness. Like, that's totally not my world. It's not a language that I use or swear to. Like, I'm not being disrespectful to anyone else, nor am I like intentionally wishing people dishealth. But I don't profess to have secrets or even, dare I say, knowledge of fitness. Because it's totally not like when you start with drugs, like you're immediately like you're in the red zone, like you're already like, that's not good. So anything that I say is genuinely not meant for people interested in their self-preservation or survival. So I just want to make it clear that like I'm not part of this conversation on purpose.
No, that's fine. I mean, you can have fitness for many things. I mean, you can be fit for sitting on the couch and eating potato chips,
Well,
like your
I point
athletes
that
are
out.
very.
At my seminars, I actually point that out. Like, what little education I had is biology, and the actual definition of fitness is capable of the task at hand.
Right.
That's the biological definition of fitness. So yeah, if you're just flipping a remote control, like, it doesn't take much. Like, I don't care about you at all.
I did want to build upon something Johnny said earlier. I did want to impress upon the viewer just how, and this kind of ties into what Ella was saying, just how staggering the return on investment from even just a small amount of lifting is. Kind of like doing what Greg Doucette does, even like a brief full body workout twice a week, even doing less than what I presume Greg does. You could do just 1 set of leg press, 1 set of a chest press, a cable row. That takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And that will yield an incredible amount of progress for an untrained individual.
Yeah, thanks guys. I have a good amount of clients that coach in person still, as well as online. So I got like a good experience of having both the online and in-person stuff. And I can attest to this a lot. I have many clients, but one client in particular who was like extremely unhealthy, in his 60s, didn't train, businessman, whatever, and came to me a year and a half ago to train him, in February. He has a vascular disease in his hip. His, walking for more than 5 minutes was like not happening. And we started off with 3 days a week doing the most basic, I'm talking body weight stuff first, and then dumbbells, basic shit. I'm talking like the most basic of the basic, push-ups, pressing, body weight squats. And after about maybe 3 months, his weight went up. He started gaining muscle. His doctor prescribed him 50 milligrams of TRT. That helped out. And then May of last year, sorry, June, he has a brain bleed. Takes him right out. He's like basically done. He's gonna die. The doctor, after he got through the brain bleed, is like, if you weren't training for the time you were, you would be dead. And to this day, this year, now after a year and I'll say six, maybe year and 6 months, whatever, He's about 80-90% back to where he was when we started. And we're still doing the basic 3 days a week of, training. He sees his, physio. So they do like, needle stuff because he got issues when it comes to like nerve damage in his neck. His arm wasn't working. Now his arm's working better. His grip's better. His eyesight, so just taking an extreme situation and seeing the most basic shit save someone's life is just like, here's my proof that you don't need to do the most extreme stuff. Like the bare minimum that you do will keep you really healthy. And people don't really realize that. They think you have to do the most extravagant things when you got to do just like do your cardio, work out, hard enough 3 times a week, try to eat your best, and you're fine. Right.
I also wanted to add on because I actually have a very similar story of somebody who I worked with. And they came to me when they were diagnosed with, I believe it was squamous cell carcinoma after he had viral myocarditis from an infection a while back. And that led to him being diagnosed with not only squamous cell carcinoma once, but then another lymphoma about, I want to say 5 months later. And he was being diagnosed with cancer multiple times. And his doctor kept on saying like, hey, there is a lot of research on exercise. And so he started exercising a little bit. He came to me for some help. I gave him very, very basic, like 3 days a week, just try to get your 150 minutes of cardio in per week. And he came to me about a year after working with me and said that he was completely in remission. And I've had a few other people, I'm not going to name names, but there was a few people online who they came to me with loved ones who were diagnosed with cancer. I would send over some research. They'd bring it to their doctor if they were not entirely on board with it yet. Get through some very basic exercises, and even basic workouts can really save people's lives. And it really does show. It's
One of the things that I think is a big problem in the space that newbies would benefit from is that you have people that are at the bottom tier looking up at all the authorities, the influencers, people that have done a lot or lifted for a long time. So they're at the end of their journey and trying to accurately set what goals are and what expectations are. You kind of make yourself crazy doing that because it's like, when Greg's getting ready for a race, I don't know if you shave your legs, but you'll do something like trying to get that last little bit, and you'll have teenagers trying to shave their legs before they know how to ride a bike, as an analogy for how they handle lifting. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And with as much as people talk about expectations and unrealistic standards and all of this, nobody gets life-changing results really going from 20-inch arms to 21-inch arms, like I would know. But you do get life-changing results if you go from 13-inch arms to 18-inch arms or something like that. If you're talking, the barrier to getting that result where you're like, holy shit, my life is completely different, is the easiest thing in the world to do. And a few times that I touch physique, because I'm not really a physique guy, but the few times I cover it, when I try to make the case to unblack pill kids or people that, hey, it's actually really easy to have an exceptional physique for the people you actually engage with in real life, especially in America, or the fattest fucking country in the world. I just came from San Antonio. There's a entire Charles Barkley reel talking shit about how fat the people in San Antonio are. And it's it's ingrained in the culture, but it's the difference is so massive that getting over that hill is actually extremely doable. But people are so oriented, they have words like optimal in their head. They think they're entitled to that razor thin margin at the end. And that's why the basics are important. It's 80-20 rule. That's why the basics are where you start, and then you personalize shit after that.
Well, there's also the fact all these guys that are, whether they're at the elite level or they're just selling, they all started training 3 days a week, full body, like the rest of us. And I see a lot of advanced people, they forget that what they're doing 20 years down the road, they don't know what beginners need or want. They have completely forgotten, what they did originally. They're like, well, I do X, Y, and Z. That's what, and of course, people who don't know any better go, well, Lance Armstrong rides 40 hours a week. I want to start riding a bike. I think I'll start with 40 hours a week. Like, no, you should start with an hour 3 times a week.
Well, that's what we all did. We did Arnold's 6-day-a-week routine.
Yeah. But you know,
I should have done 3.
yeah.
I never even knew what full body was till college.
Chris, I see you holding it up. I've got
Nice.
Yeah,
Chris,
I followed that routine starting out.
Chris, I expected you to be like at least one of the other people here with anime shit in the background instead of just me.
No. I got it though. You know I love the anime.
I know you got it.
I see you with the
When I
origin
started
insertion skeleton.
Oh, please, Elle.
I see it back there, Chris. The origin and insertion skeleton.
Yeah, you know, got a day at a time, just like bodybuilding. You know, I'm a beginner at one point, just learning as I go. That's why I'm sorry. You talking? Yeah,
it's okay.
when y'all were talking about, you know, the different type of programs, one thing people forget is we're still training the brain, the neuromuscular system. So so the simple movement patterns are going to help you connect with your body. I mean, I don't want to get too deep on the, you know, outside of the topic, but a lot of this machines and those sexy little, that's old school right there. Damn.
Wow.
Oh,
I got the same one Chris has.
Chris, you got anybody? You get any of these younger guys? Chris, you get any of these younger guys coming up to you in the gym yet, telling you have old man strength?
Not yet, no, because lately I've been on my hippie shit lately.
Hold it to
on my hippie shit lately. They're surprised I look like they're more surprised I look like the way I look on light weights.
Dude, the young ones in my gym, they come up, they're like, "Aren't you gonna warm up first?" I'm like, "I just did." Like that was the warm up. I did one set with some light weight. They're like, "That was light."
How old are you, Scott? Bostonians don't normally age that good.
I'm 41.
Yeah, okay, definitely.
Bostonians don't age that good.
It's harsh weather. Can I ask you a question, Greg?
Yeah.
I was curious because you probably have your finger to the pulse as far as like social media and the fitness industry more than anybody, right? Are there any like kind of trends that you see on the horizon that might be coming up in the new year that you have any like predictions for, good or bad?
I think science-based lifting is dead, and people are going to go back to the basics and just start training harder than last time, like they should have been doing all along. I really think there's a big trend to people getting back to the basics as opposed to all this ridiculousness. But you still see a trend of the youngest kids, like the teenagers, doing the stupid science-based bullshit. Like instead of doing a pull down, they'll tie a rope to it and attach it to their elbows. And it's just like this, they've gotten so far to the opposite extreme. I think that's kind of trending. And I would say looksmaxxing in terms of like with clavicular, adjusting the face, with putting on makeup, bone smashing, taking Retta or terzipatide, Ozempic, trying to lose weight for that. So there's definitely guys being more like, we used to say metrosexual. I think that's big trends right now.
I just wanted to say that I don't think that what a lot of the kids doing the science-based stuff, like that's not even really what science is. When you're in a laboratory, science is a methodology. It's not a gospel. So like we should all be able to criticize it and objectively like say, okay, well, right now the evidence does not suggest this. It's whatever you're preaching is a hypothetical. And
science is skepticism. Quite
yeah,
literally.
Hypotheses are not the same as like an actual theory in science, like the theory of gravity, stuff like that. Those are not. It's not.
I think it's really important to clarify that when we say evidence-based or science-based, it's kind of a misnomer. Just like bro scientists, I use this analogy a lot. Nobody would go into a Gracie gym and call them bro scientists because they don't take their shit directly from labs. So it's specifically to talk about the groups of people. It's the groups of people that are unduly pulling conclusions out of research that they're probably not qualified to even read, let alone actually try to put into practice conclusively. So, you know, everyone's like, oh, you're anti-science. Like, no, I'm anti-shitty science, which is what this is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to also bring up, like, as far as like being able to read research, a lot of research is going to be like very, so to get like research published, a lot of researchers will put in a lot of like words that make their research sound novel, make it sound really fancy schmancy. So you see this with a lot of like EMG stuff where they'll say, yes, this definitely is occurring. You are only activating this part of the muscle. You're only activating this muscle. They'll make it very, very conclusive sounding. That way they can publish it. That doesn't mean that it's conclusive. That doesn't mean that it's the end all be all, because that's not what a lot of research is.
It's also not repeated. That's the other key of science is it needs to be challenged and repeatable. And we don't see that at all.
That never happens. Yeah, that never happens. Not even in real fields, unlike exercise science. There's no incentive out there to actually be like testing other people's work. No one does that. I was in
I would
psychology when the reputation crisis happened.
In exercise science, there is no replication.
I would say that there's more so. I would say there's more so criticism in other fields, but a large reason why I left exercise science, because I started off with doing my bachelor's in biology, and then I transferred over to exercise science because at the time I was really interested in it. I finished my degree in that field, but then I moved on to physiology, and it's like a whole new world. It's they do challenge each other a lot. For example, like when I'm reviewing a paper, you can very clearly see like there's peer reviewers who are challenging the initial authors. And that's why you find a lot of like preprints that are not actually published. But that being said, in exercise science, I can very clearly tell there's bias, very clearly.
I think with that exercise science it just got tiring. So like for me, I always looked at exercise science as like, you don't have to do a full rep. You don't have to train hard. You don't have to do, it was almost like giving you like shortcuts. So like, science says I don't have to train as hard and do this. So, everyone who's been following, evidence-based has been doing it for years and like, where are all my gains? This sucks. And then now everyone's, being exposed and realizing, oh, maybe I should just be training hard and then I probably could get results. So it's like, rinse and repeat the same thing. It doesn't work over time. You're just eventually gonna be like, I should probably try something different. And now I'm glad that a lot of people have been exposed about it because it's just
Johnny, I think that our generation, and I mean everyone in this call, we just weren't looking for shortcuts when we went to the gym. And this generation is just looking for every shortcut they can
kids today,
so they can get popular in social media, because they know they're not going to grow their social media following when they first start their fitness journey. They're not big enough. They're not going to make much waves. And so they're just looking for shortcuts. And when we went to the gym, if the workout lasted an hour or we were there for 5 hours around with our friends and training hard, it didn't matter because we were there because we liked it.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, they say they like fitness, but to really, it's a chore and they just want to get it over with. They get in the gym, get it over with.
Yeah. Go ahead. How many in this group? Go ahead.
Science is becoming like six-pack shortcuts in a way.
Yeah, your towel, baby.
Real gimmicky, like six-pack shortcuts, but science-based shortcuts. Notice that length and partial. That's when it just took. That's low key kind of bothered me. They were just overdoing the length and partial, trying to make it a new. We've always did partial short and then lengthen. Notice that big guy. 330-pound Russian doing short and partials now. Keep the game. We've already been doing that. No, remember 21s?
Oh yeah.
Remember 21s? Come on, we've already been on this. We just didn't articulate it like that. They came with a new articulation style and tried to capitalize on it with and they got exposed.
So I think consumers are always going to be looking for shortcuts, and I think that's the big problem is the financial incentive that exists for people in a field that are unchecked to have that bias influence the titles they use. I mean, they're using titles out of like tabloids from the 90s to talk about scientific research. And it's like from Women's World or whatever that you would expect from like, a Kmart in 1998. And they're training. And I think a big problem is communication, the gap between what science actually is or should be and what we're calling exercise science. It's the communicators miscommunicating and teaching a whole generation of people to look at this wrong, and nobody's checking that. And I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, I always revel in me and Broderick have a lot in common with this. I always revel in the chaos of like the turning of the tides, but this is long overdue, because if the field isn't going to check itself and if everybody's going to kind of go along because it's in their best interest to do so, then I'm happy to see an upswell of people kind of turn it over tin cup.
Also, I just wanted to mention that I know some people who are in in the field of exercise science from when I was like pursuing my bachelor's of science there, and I was thinking about going into graduate school in that same field. But what I realized was that the notable people, the people who are on social media, the social media scientists who publish their work and then flash it all up on like posts online,
Schoenfeld
guys. Those guys get all of the attention. The real exercise scientists who are doing work on things like type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, things like, for example, looking into specifics on like the melanocortin system for appetite signaling and such like that. People who are doing like actual science in the field, like for example, the studies that I cite and like provide to people when they're like diagnosed with cancer and they're asking me, hey, can I exercise? Is there anything I can show my doctor to say, hey, I really want to exercise? And I can send them over that research. That research is good exercise science. That is meaningful. But when you have the people who are the social media exercise scientists who are just like, yeah, I'm going to publish this study and then I'm going to leave it a preprint, which this has actually happened, where they just leave it a preprint and then they post it all over social media like it's this fancy new study. And I'm like, this isn't science. It's still a preprint. Like, dude, it's still an RXV. Like, this is not even published. So why are you promoting it?
The issue is the average consumer doesn't know these things.
Of course not. They are swayed by the appearance of expert. You know, to Ella's point, real exercise scientists are too busy doing their science to be posting 4 times a day to social media. Exactly. And the people in what I call the evidence-based circle jerk, all the ones, you know, again, Brad, Krieger, Menno, you know, all those people, they are better at social media than they are at their craft, which should be science, right? I have never seen Menno Henselman report a paper accurately ever. Ever. And then when I say that and I go through and go, you got this, and this wrong, they're like, you, Lyle. And of course, 6 years later, after the Schoenfeld fiasco, after all that, everyone's like, Lyle was right. Yeah.
Hashtag Lyle was right.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just like, yes.
And
so
Worcestershire sauce.
To your point, like scientists and coaches too, many of them, they're too busy coaching to be on social media all day. And somehow the group that came up as the evidence-based people, because I watched it right in the early 2010s, they were trying to fight the gurus, and then they became the gurus themselves. They became the true bro scientists, because there'll be science until you criticize, and then it's suddenly well, I bench more than you. I'm like, well, which is it, dude? Is it evidence? Is it science? Or is it? And so yeah, I think
don't die the hero.
Actual exercise science that is being done, which in America is for the most part, and the exercise scientists who are just social media gurus who use science when it suits them. Broderick, I'll shut up.
Yeah, I was just going to say something. I do apologize. Even after an hour, I still have no idea who's who. Emanuela and somebody else were saying something that made me think of this. I realize every time I open my mouth, it comes back to drugs because that's who I am and where I live. But on the topic of shortcuts, even today, drugs are looked at as a shortcut. And I swear to you, for what little bit my swear is worth, in the environment I came up, and it was very open that there was drug use, and it was very clear that drugs were the ultimate path to the ultimate pinnacle. But drugs were treated not as a shortcut, but actually as a long cut.
Oh, there we go.
It was an extra layer of commitment. It was extra. It was, you had to take legal risk, physical risk. You had to do way more cardio. You had to pay attention to your diet. It was literally like taking on a part-time job on top of your full-time job. Yeah. It wasn't a shortcut. It was baggage, and it was a right, and it was hard. And now it's not, and that's the.
I could agree with Jonathan. I'm sure. I was I don't know, maybe you too, Greg. But when I was doing gear, like that to me was first of all only did it because I knew that that's how I had to level the playing field. But it wasn't a the first thing I do was gonna do a bunch. But the first thing I think my first cycle was what I could afford, and it was only I think it was Masterone and test, and then once I knew more, and my buddy, a buddy of mine from Saudi Arabia gave me a book. I forget what it was called, but it's basically the science on anabolics. It's one of the first manuals. I read the whole thing first. So when I got into like actually doing, it was like I went from a knowing what I was doing, and then treating it as part of like as just as serious as my diet, just as serious as as the drugs I was taking. It wasn't like, and I would tell some of my clients like, the drugs aren't there to replace your hard work. They're there to enhance your hard work.
They're allowed to allow you to do more hard work.
Right. So it's like now people are like, the first they do is like first I'm gonna start my fitness journey. Is like, all right, cool. Where's I'm gonna try ipamorelin and tesamorelin peptides first, then some SARMs. Like, well, I'll just go learn how to do a bench press first, and then get your diet in check, and then when you're so it's like it is the more than ever because I think it's because it's so much more glamorized and it's online more just like in your face. People just doing drugs and showing it as it's like your rites of passage to being famous on YouTube or Instagram. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do, and even peptides. I remember like back in the day, the Greg, I was like, peptides has been out for a while. Now it's like the hit thing. It's like these peptides been out for a while. Now it's popular because everyone wants to do peptides now, right?
Greg, you're almost as old as me. Did you ever see the growth hormone that was extracted from cadavers? Frescrom?
No.
I actually took this. I literally, and I shouldn't be this childish. And even when I was a child, I should have been this childish. But when I took it, I actually had like this weird superhero thing. And I felt like I was stealing the power of other people because it had been in their body. And I felt like I was absorbing their essence. And I don't think I took enough to do squat, but I swear to you, I was 2 inches taller because I was like, I have consumed people.
You're like that episode of South Park where Christopher Reeves is sucking the fetuses and he's turning into Superman.
I was just thinking of Absolute Joker right now. I don't know if there's any comic book nerds, but
yeah. I haven't. That's on my list to check out. Alexander.
Covered in baby fetuses, and they like sew it to him, and he's covered with.
Oh my god!
That's how he gets his power. And I feel like if that would have got Roderick 1,000-pound squat, he would have been right there.
Unquestionably.
Outside of Planned Parenthood, just like I need.
Well, going back to the drug thing.
How serious did you take your? I want to get Greg's opinion when he was, how did you look at anabolics when you're taking it? Was it just part of the game, or was it?
I was 100% dead against taking steroids for so many years. Like I would have been the most against it of anyone. And then after competing with people for probably 10 plus years and then sometimes losing against them where they were using it, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do this. And I was no longer making gains in my 30s. And I'm like, well, I want a pro card. I need to use it. So I just love bodybuilding so much and I wanted to keep getting better at it. And that was the only way to keep going with it. So until that point, I really had no interest in using steroids. I was good enough. And so why take them? But like now, kids are 14 years old, 50, like on steroids right away, and they're not even going to train for probably more than 5 years. Most people don't like bodybuilding enough to keep going. If you have to use steroids in the first year of training, you don't even like the gym. You're just liking the gains. It's like, how are you not going to enjoy the gym when you're putting on 20 pounds of muscle in a year? But like, if you like the gym enough, you can go to the gym without steroids, and that proves that you like it. Because anyone would like training with steroids. It's like, it's crazy. You're going to gain 10 pounds 10 times faster than normal. So I just hate the fact that young kids are using these things so young now. And it's not just steroids, it's SARMs and it's peptides. And they got to wait. But, there's too much glorification. The guys like Sam Sulik and Chris Bumstead, it's like, of course they want to do it.
Well, yeah, I want to add to that, if you don't mind. Like I said, I have many friends, many clients. So many, angles to look at this from. What I've observed is not the steroids that's the issue. It's when you take the steroids not for the physical benefits, when you take it for spiritual benefits, like lack of patience, insecurity, things like that. When you take it for those reasons, that's when it could become an issue later. If you're trying to get to the next level, for the most part, I've seen people stay who they are. When they take steroids to reach a new height they couldn't reach naturally, they tend to be okay. It's usually the ones I've seen that take steroids for the spiritual benefits. I need to get big now. You know, things like that for the shortcut benefits. For other things outside of the
point. I think he had a point too.
What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah, well, it's I did a video on this recently, and I thought that people are taking them sooner and sooner, earlier and earlier in their journey. I saw a few comments on my video about people who started taking steroids before they went to the gym, before they even started, because they wanted to be big enough that they felt comfortable in the gym. And so I thought it would be like, oh, your first year of training, we're at -1, -2 years of training at this point. So it's getting pretty wild out there.
Wow.
Yeah, one of my best clients, he's making crazy natural progress with me. And the last guy he went to before he went to me, the guy just tried to start him on a cycle like day one, and this guy just blew up naturally. It's pretty ubiquitous. And to Chris's point, it is the guys who go on as a shortcut who are always the ones who are insecure about it. Like the guys who go on gear to accomplish something cool, and like, okay, you won some major competition, you got huge, you deadlifted 900 pounds, whatever. They never care about people talking about gear, but it's always the guys who know they took it as a shortcut. Like me and Scott are kind of beefing with a fellow who went on at 2 years, and now he's trying to be this big online coach.
Hilarious.
And, my goodness, this is triggered when you talk about steroids. It's like, buddy, you haven't been lifting for as long as, I mean, you've been lifting for what, like the past 4 years now? Come on, man. And you're on here trying to to talk to people that have been doing it about as long as you've been alive. You took a shortcut. It's called a shortcut. Just admit it,
I'm sorry.
That is the most insecure about it.
And one more thing I think is overlooked too. I feel like, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll get back to it. I know this is
I'll jump in. Chris, I'll jump in while you think, Chris.
I just wanted to also add on, like, I think it's important to bring up like the safety of these things. A lot of these kids don't know how to do sterile technique, and they're risking like sepsis. They're risking some bacterial infection. There was a kid not too long ago, I believe he actually either had like a heart attack or something happened with him where he used the same needle multiple times, and I'm like, oh God, why?
Yeah, but I'm old enough. I'm from a time when that was almost a necessity because syringes were more precious than the drugs. I'm not kidding. I come from an era when we used to put syringes in a pressure cooker and then sharpen them on a whetstone.
Oh, wow. You can put anything in an autoclave.
You don't need to.
That's why Broderick's surprised to be alive every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Some kid's gonna watch this and be like, "Oh my God, Broderick did it. I can do it too."
Wait, you would sharpen them when you'd reuse them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's cheating.
There used to be these preloads of Sustanon 250 from Mexico.
Amps.
And they were in a glass syringe with a wax tip, and the actual syringe, the needle was next to it. They were an elegant, beautiful little thing, but they were as dull as a number 2 pencil. And the only way to use them was to sharpen them because they were horrible.
What
snapping it with those, like that ball you use on a samurai sword? It's like,
excellent question, Emmanuel. They were 18 gauge. They were meant for cattle. They were an 18 gauge syringe. You could look down the tube.
18.
They were literally meant for farm use.
I think a big thing I think we all can answer. I think the people need to know, because it's not the most glamorous thing all, but like I've been to the gym since I was 11 years old, and I could probably think that everyone in here has been to the gym very, very young, and no one has, it's not glamorous. So someone's like, "Man, how long have you been in the gym?" I'm like, "I don't know if you want to ask me that. It's not that 11. I'm 42, so like I've been in the gym for like 30 years. So it's like the important thing that needs to be said is like all of us have spent years in the gym. Greg, you have gains, and you kept gains because you've been training since you were 11 years old. You've built, and we've all built something meaningful with with legitimate passion and consistency over years, and that story isn't being told that much at all, right? And that's why it's just not glamorous. Like, hey, I've been training for 30 years, so get some gains. Right? It's like,
what I was gonna say, my bad. What I was gonna say was people overlook how hormones affect us energetically. Things like testosterone can give you more confidence to face the world. Notice how we're seeing these so-called gurus talk about making money. Some of them are on steroids, and I'm thinking to myself, how much is it because of your knowledge, or because you're selling against people who are not on steroids too? Because it gives you again more confidence to go grab the bull by the horns. Again, many friends, many experiences, you know, and I think people don't overlook. Again, if you take shortcuts, you know, you might overlook the building things. Like when you bodybuild for a while without the roids, you learn how to tell yourself no when it's time to diet. You learn how to, you know, be patient. That way the steroids, you can really scale it and see how much of it is it really helping you, how much of it is it really boosting you versus crutching you.
Right.
You know, you gotta know yourself a little bit before you experiment. I never have, but if I did, I got so much self-knowledge, I would know exactly how much hornier this making me. Let's just be real. How much more aggressive is this making me?
I trained for 15 years, Natty. I started lifting when I was 12 regularly. I didn't go on until my late 20s, and it was when strongman started picking up. I had competed for 6 years already. I'd been to nationals. I was pulling in the mid sixes. Like I'd done a lot Natty, and it was like that analogy of like it's not the shortcut. It's like, okay, well, I'm riding bikes now. I'm gonna put a motor on it. Now it's like like multiply lifting compared to raw powerlifting. It's like this is the next evolution. It's just a logical thing, but that's absolutely true. Like the difference between when you're on, it's not so much this meteoric rise to the top, the way a lot of people think, but it is different in what you can get away with, how it's going to make you feel, how it's going to affect your training. And when you do accrue so many years on, if that's how you start, I can only imagine how it sinks you into that sand pit where you're stuck, because it's not that you can't stay kind of jacked or strong if you go off, it's that you won't know what the to do because your body's going to respond completely differently. Like I went off when we were trying to have our son, and I made it to regionals, and I had to fly out to San Francisco, and I had to go through my normal cut, and the difference in cutting with trenbolone versus without trenbolone when you're trying to be as strong as possible, let me tell you folks, it's not the same. So those hard lessons you have to learn on the back end. It's like, I mean, if we want to go over reasons not to do it, I'm sure everybody could give like their worst steroid story, and we could like just dissuade a generation of people to ever with it. But
I actually think that would be quite valuable.
No one will listen or care. They
Greg, I mean,
can't give a horror story and tell people not to do it because of that.
But they're good for clicks.
Or you could just tell them they'll end up looking like Mike Israetel, and it still doesn't stop them.
Doubletron. You look like Doubletron.
Just a no.
Yeah, Greg mentioned looksmaxxing earlier, which is this. I mean, there's nothing wrong with self-improvement, but it has arguably crossed into a troubling territory where people are taking steroids very young and smashing their bones for, you know, these. I mean, do you guys? I don't know how familiar everyone is with the trend. Looks
the dumbest thing.
I just had a
I
just had a surgeon on my podcast last week. She's a plastic surgeon down in Miami, and she was telling me she's getting these young kids doing jaw implants. She does a procedure where she breaks the lower ribs, where her mentor would remove them, but she breaks them and puts people in a corset for like 3 months. It's pretty crazy the way it looks, but that's without having to remove ribs. And she's doing all kinds of stuff. She was doing clitoral reductions and ball implants on dudes, but like the younger kids, she's saying the jaw implants.
Why would you do that? Stop that.
Yeah, for some girls, that's their money makers, right?
Maryland,
but the ribs are a big thing.
It's always it's honestly, when I see this, all this stuff, it's always the insecure people that are promoting the confident, right? It's like, I'm sorry, Mike Israetel's an insecure child, and he's one trying to, promote, confidence and training and gains and like, and now I see, a guy like, I'll get some other stuff too, but I see him online flashing his physique. I'm like, dude, you pay $100,000 for that. You didn't earn that. You know what I mean? Like, then you have like, the clavicular kid who's like already a good looking guy talking about how he needs to look max. It's stupid. I hate saying it. It sounds so stupid. I get, you know what I mean? But you have insecure people in these roles that are like telling people to do these things to be secure, and it's like none of them have emotional intelligence or self-awareness. None of it all. They don't know themselves before they start doing steroids. They don't know themselves before they start doing anything, and then they're promoting this lifestyle like they have it all. And then you have kids going, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do what Mike says. I'm gonna do what this clavicular idiot says. And like, there's not enough guys like us really out there just
We
like
lost John.
really, you know what I mean? Not please, but it's like calling him out.
We lost him.
Johnny, you bring up a really good point, and the common denominator is that all of these people are constantly promoting that you are not enough.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're just never happy with themselves at any point in their life. They have body dysmorphia on a scale that like I have never seen it this bad. And all of us coming up, you know, when YouTube started getting big, there was never any of this. It was all like a lot of education, a lot of great workouts, a lot of collaborations, things like that, right? But it was all fun, and it was like, you look great, I look great, let's get shredded. Like it was such a different vibe even 7 years ago, 6 years ago. But now, like you were saying, it's all these kids, they just think that like what they have is never enough. And like that clavicular kid, I did a video on him, and I'm like, he's a good looking kid. And he's literally in a video talking about how he scores all these chicks, and all the chicks are in the other room on this boat they're in.
Right.
They're like, I can get your girl. He can get your girl. And all the girls aren't even there. There's not one in the shot.
Dude, we all sound like old men yelling at clouds. You go back to 1950s bodybuilding magazines, they're like how to gain confidence, how to get women. This is nothing new. It's just more available.
The extreme.
Rather than being once a month, it's every 30 seconds. And yeah, I agree that social media has made everyone like, oh my God, my life sucks because it's not perfect all the time, but this is nothing new. Bodybuilding has always appealed to insecure 14-year-olds, like Mike Israetel, who is still a insecure 14-year-old despite being 40, right?
If you're small, you might as well have big arms.
Right? Go back to the old Charles Atlas, the bully kicked sand in my face, and I got jacked and I got laid. This is nothing new. We just sound, YouTube has always been like this. Fitness has always been like this. Now just anybody with an opinion can start a channel. And if they have abs, they can get an audience. That's the only difference. Instead of leaders controlling it all. But none of this is new.
Yeah, I was going to play devil's advocate.
It's worse. I would agree with Scott.
Yeah, it's worse because there's more of it, and it's maybe a little bit more extreme, but it's not new.
Because I remember the time when, like, let's say breast implants were like, they were kind of new, and it was like everybody talked about it at all times, like late 80s, early 90s. Baywatch, anybody? I grew up on Baywatch.
Yep. Anyways. Oh, hell yeah.
But then that became so incredibly normalized. And then I remember butt implants were the new thing. I was like, oh my God, they're doing what? And it's like, we hit this. So it's like, I feel like there's a little bit of an irony because we all do kind of extreme shit by anybody's measure. I mean, if you've been on Atlas's Instagram account and seen what he does on concrete blocks, you see like Jeff going through his like crazy lean phases where he's talking about his butt hurting from sitting on the chair because there's no padding. So that I feel like there's a little bit of irony because it's like, well, the new thing is like, and I'm not saying I'm on board with it or it's nothing. I know there's a line. I just struggle because I don't know objectively how we find where the line is, because it seems like we always just react to what the new thing is. And people are always going to be insecure. And if there's surgical procedures or whatever else to fix it, people are going to do it. And I don't know how long it's going to be before, like, if the height procedure, like, look, I have the torso of somebody who's like 6'3". I got the little flappy like puppet legs that are like this big. If they had that procedure around when I was a teenager, I might have got that cracked. I don't know. I might have added the 3 inches of my height. And I feel like there's going to be a point where it's normalized. And it's like, is that really a sign of degeneracy? Is that new technology? Is that being relative to our own little bubble? I don't know. I'm just
here's where the line is drawn. If I like it, it's good. And if I don't personally like it, it's too much. That's where the line is drawn. This is generational. This is what we think the line is. 20 years from now, people are like, oh yeah, I did looksmaxxing, but these kids today with their neural implants, it's wrong.
Looksmaxxing when I was a kid was getting braces.
Every generation thinks that the next generation is degenerate, has music, and wears their hair wrong. We just happen to be objectively right about it.
I think that the conversation I make a point. I think even Chris, you do too as well. But I always make a point that the fitness industry, even us, like everyone's talking about how to get stronger, how to look better, how to get but no one's talking about how to be emotionally intelligent, how to have self-awareness, how to actually. That's So for me, I don't care if you're look max or put an implant. None of that bugs me. I'm as extreme as it comes. I don't really give a you do breast implants, butt plants, crack your knees, whatever. Do you? But if you don't have the, if you don't have your mental health in check, that's the conversation no one has, and that's why this stuff goes the way it goes, right? Yeah, go get your body done up, whatever. But if you're still an insecure kid or woman, you're done, right?
But then Mike Israetel makes that channel, and we all make fun of him for it. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's so who's going to be the one to go? It's like the first person to care loses. So the person that makes a channel about this is how to reach mental health, a healthy level of mental health in the lifting space. And it's hard to do that where it's not cornbally or makes a target out of you.
Yeah, and I mean, I do it often. I talk about very freely about it because for myself, it's something very important. So for me, but like I said, I don't have a problem with anyone doing anything to their body. I can give a rat's. It's when you project something that is obviously insecurity, and then you build things on that, and then people are following you thinking that this secure person is doing this secure thing, and it's not, right? So I'm going to do this because this guy he's my hero. Meanwhile, he's an insecure. Don't want to go too far. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my problem with a lot of these things. Everyone's starting bodybuilding. They're starting their careers bodybuilding or Instagram, whatever it is, and they have zero, peace open. They are like zero, presence or they don't know themselves at all who's doing any of these things. That's where I have a problem, right?
The problem is insecurity is a massive advantage on social media, though, because I mean, it did tend to be a lot of. I mean, I'm not saying everybody who's successful, but it sure seems to help because a regular person can take the the positive feedback.
Thank you for joining us, Scott. So sorry to interrupt you, Atlas. It's just Scott Herman is leaving, and I want to wish him a goodbye. It was a pleasure having you joining us, Scott.
Good to meet you, Scott. Catch you soon, Scott.
Have a good one, Scott.
Looking forward to connecting with you guys next
year.
Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Merry Christmas with your families. Happy New Year, all that. And thanks for having me, Solomon.
Pleasure, Scott. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you guys.
Sorry to interrupt you, Atlas. Yeah. You were saying.
Oh yeah. Oh, my bad. I guess I was saying something. Yeah. Sorry. I was saying something about
insecurities helping us.
Yeah, I mean. It's people like, and we'll pick on Dr. Mike, or sorry, Mr. Mike, because we've been doing that. I mean, somebody like that, they'll kind of do whatever it takes, and a normal person might say, you know what, I don't want to do that. I think I'm just not going to do that to get famous. You see it in other spheres like Tim Kennedy. I don't know if you guys were following that saga where it turned out that Mr. Green Beret MMA guy turned out he made up all his war stories, including the war crimes, which is a little odd. Like you'd think you wouldn't want to make up war crimes that you didn't actually commit, but whatever. But it seems like and we have like Wes Watson, folks like that. It seems like kind of in every space you have a lot of like really insecure people that do really well because they make up really good stories because they're just going to do what they need to do to get there. And a lot of the rest of us are just kind of like, yeah, I'm good actually. Like, I mean, I feel like I kind of got into this thing by accident, and like it's kind of crazy how many people have like recognized me out in the wild. I'm like, okay, this is all right, but it's weird actually. I'm good.
I've been recognized once. Yeah, I went to the optometrist and was recognized. It was after I released my critique of Mike's PhD thesis.
Oh, I had someone recognize me too. It was really interesting.
Was it a sweet interaction?
It was really sweet. Yeah.
Nice.
No,
How
that was.
Do the folks around here get recognized? I mean, Ella, it's happened to you once.
Oh, it's happened
imagine
actually
3 times in 30 years.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
You don't go out.
One of those was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
I'm surprised, honestly. I've been seeing Lyle around for years.
Yeah, well, I think we forget that like the average gym goer and the internet fitness space do not overlap, or certainly they're not going to overlap with a lot of us. They may overlap with, bodybuilding.com or T Nation or what that stuff. With me, though, when people are like, are you Lyle McDonald? I take a big step back, so I'm at an arm's length and go, well, that depends. Do you like me or do you want my face? Like, I always want to make sure that I'm out of their reach. But yeah, 3 times in 30 years.
Man.
Well, Greg,
which is fine because it means they don't bother me when I'm at the gym. I can just go work out and get left alone, which is fine. So,
Greg,
what about you, Greg?
It would be all the time because Greg is recognizable as well. I mean, he can't blend in like I might be able to.
I went to a gym in Miami, had 30 photos in one gym. It
Wow.
was
Right.
nonstop. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's at a gym. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. Yeah, definitely.
How do you handle it? Are you cool with it, or
I
you try to,
enjoy
like,
it. It's fun for me. I get recognized everywhere, airport, shopping, out, anywhere. I take photos daily for sure.
Cool.
yeah, you crossed over beyond just normal fitness people too?
Well, I've over 4,000 videos, and people recognize me because it's like
Jeez.
this. So they see me, and it's. I guess it's just. I've got so many videos. You're bound to see me. You're forced to.
Right.
Yeah, my girl doesn't watch anybody, and she knows who you are. She's so pumped. She's like, "Oh, you'll be on there with Greg." She doesn't know a single other person in the industry. I've only been recognized twice, both in gyms.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I
I've
train
been
at
recognized
home.
twice taking my kids to waterfalls, which is kind of odd, but I do take them to waterfalls a lot. At least in the spring or summer when there's.
Have any of you
I get
guys-
recognized a lot. I don't have a number, but it's pretty much every time I go to an event, an Arnold, Olympia, somebody or bodies recognizes me almost always.
Have any of you guys had any weird interactions with people who have recognized you?
What kind?
Weird?
Like weird, very weird, iffy interactions ever?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Greg,
Really?
So spill the beans, Greg. What's the craziest one?
Well, one guy wanted to kill me, pretty much. I would say.
All right. Is that Mike?
Probably don't want to name names.
Weirdly, I've never had that one. Everybody that's a tough guy on the internet in person, they're so happy to meet you and like, oh, that was just talk. I just
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah, funny that. The weirdest interaction I ever had was in Sydney Harbor. I was just walking along, minding my own business, looking at my feet, and it's purely descriptive. I'm not trying to be insulting, but a very overweight Asian man ran up to, aggressively, ran right up to me and was like, I watch all of your videos. I'm a huge fan. And it was super weird and super aggressive. And he super didn't look like he did any of the things I say. It was weird.
It's weird when people fly out here.
You were traveling.
What's that?
Sorry?
You were in Australia.
I've been to Australia many times. It's one of the few places I'll suck it up and go. I love it there.
Oh, great.
If I could make $2, I would take them there and retire.
Oh,
I don't joke. It's lovely. And it's
nice.
enormous. You can hide it and no one will bother you.
It is a great country. Next time you come down, perhaps we can record something together.
I didn't even realize that's where you were, how deaf I am.
Do I look like a redcoat or what?
I don't make assumptions, and to be more honest, I don't care, so I don't think about it.
No, of course. Yeah, I'm Australian.
You're not
Where are
English?
you?
I would have assumed England. I would have assumed like from the UK if I didn't know.
What?
Where are you at?
Melbourne.
All due difference, my least favorite city in Australia, but still nice.
Are you more of a Sydney guy?
Sydney and Perth, I love.
Who else here has been to Australia?
I
went to
wanna go.
Fiji. Got pretty close,
Yeah, Fiji, Australia, basically the same.
but never made it all the way over there. Yeah.
No, you should come down. I mean, the unfortunate. I would love to collaborate with more of you guys often, but the reality of being in Australia is that's not logistically.
Get out and
the
push your
easiest.
island a little further west.
Oh yeah, maybe I'd need some of your help on the farmer side for that strength objective, Broderick.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you ever come back stateside for like events or anything, or?
Not super often. I might. It's a bit of a long journey, and my wife. It's a little bit of a process to get her a visa, especially the past few years. I might though. A bunch of people ask me about like, are you going to this expo or this expo, and I might. I definitely don't get recognized as much here in China. One guy did show up to my gym once. And he's like, you Jeff? Like, oh, we're gonna get in a workout together. I'm like, okay. This is weird.
Aw, that's kind of sweet though.
Yeah,
Jeff.
for the
You
most
gotta
part, I
admit.
don't really get recognized here in China. And it's kind of nice. I don't really particularly want to be famous or recognized. Like I'm kind of introverted. So it's actually nice in a way. But yeah, I might come stateside for a little bit. My parents are still there. And so it's just a matter of like visas and sorting out everything.
Folks, have you got any exciting content plans for the new year?
Me?
Well, not for the new year, but me and I was gonna say I got a roundtable coming at the end of the year with Jeff and a couple other than big natural bodybuilders that are kind of big in the sphere of basement bodybuilding, as
Is that a
lifts.
real thing?
And
Big natural.
yeah, the natty.
That's actually a thing.
Big as in influencers here.
Oh, you mean big as in reach, not big as in person. Okay, that makes sense.
So that'll be cool. I don't know how I got in so cool with all the natty guys, but I like it.
You
gotta grist to it.
Cancer's curable.
Oh yeah, Johnny. It's an exhorting back guy to say something. Anders, you've been rather quiet this entire time. How are you going? I dare say it must be pretty late for you, right? Are you in Norway?
He's muted.
Maybe he's been talking the whole fucking time.
Oh, no.
You're muted, bad guy.
Folks, I have a video I'm currently cooking up. It is to remain a surprise, but you guys can know what it is. I'll send the title in the chat.
Oh.
Ooh.
Another chat in this thing?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, right.
Is this another one that's going to break the internet?
You be the judge.
Oh, hell yeah. How did you...
I can't wait. That'll be nice. You know what I wanted?
Oh.
Oh yes.
You know the funny thing
you're
is,
excited.
we were supposed to do that collaboration, and the one that Mike backed away from. You know what it was? He planned it, and he backed out after he just got rid of me. You know what it actually was?
What was it, Johnny?
It was a rematch for a jiu-jitsu role.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's not a black belt. I got a lot of friends.
No.
Even myself, I'm like, he does not want to do that. And I would love to challenge that again, to be like, I want to see if this is like, he's not a black belt.
There is a video when all this exploded and it got out of the fitness and bot. There is someone over in the BJJ space that was like analyzing Mike's skill on the mat. And he's like, he just turtles and he's big and people can't move him, but he's got like, he went clearly to a BJJ McDojo, bought himself a black belt, never competed against anybody, because if he did, he'd just get his ass whooped. So he's as successful there as he is in bodybuilding and pretty much in life right now. So yeah, that'd be awesome.
Man.
Solomon, your background is philosophy.
Yeah.
I think you should really put together something more like Espinoza's fitness or something more like that. I think that would be a more challenging and meaningful topic.
Hey, Solomon, I have a question for you, buddy. If you would have released the Mike files a year earlier, do you think they would have been received, or you think it had to be like kind of right when you did it?
I think
I was obviously espousing all kinds of and then I was going to obviously I didn't dive in as deep as you, but he had been making himself look like a fool on his own as well. So I'm wondering if you think it was just a perfect storm, or if you think he did it a year earlier, it would have had the same effect.
I think if I did it a year early, it would have had the same effect.
Yeah.
I think what I exposed was so scandalous that regardless of the climate, as it were, it would have blown up.
I sent that to GBS and Atlas, I think it's one or two of you guys. And I remember like reading through it. And I'm just like, I just feel like people at that time, I was like, I don't know, people are already so up his asshole. And I just feel like it was just such, I mean, I do think it would have brought a ton of people, but I just think that he'd already done terrible in his shows. He had already been doing the terrible, making a fool of himself with the surgeries. It was like everything combined just made it blow up even more. I think it was just the perfect storm of stuff. And I think you were obviously the way you went about it was just so cutting and so like perfect. There's like no defense. You said, are you becoming an attorney? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I'm in law school at the moment.
Oh, it shows. Perfect. You can just tell.
It shows.
I mean, I think the thing
not in a bad way.
It was in a good way. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Atlas.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I think I may have had a delay. I'm sorry.
How did you and Lyle
Just
link
wait
up?
for me.
I was curious.
How did Lyle and I meet up? I mean, I sent Lyle an email, and he eventually agreed to do a podcast with me, and the rest is history.
Just so you know, I emailed you 2 years ago offering to pay your consult fee if you would come on with me, Lyle. I've been following you since 2002. Yeah,
it's probably I've got a folder of like podcast requests from like 2 years ago that I'll get to them.
So how many more guys
flake out after a while?
How many more guys are you gonna get after this? Like you got, gonna get next, and you get like who else? You taking you going after the entire circle jerk or what?
I don't know, Johnny. It depends on how motivated I feel. I really
so far you could beat a dead horse. It's kind of
Lane North.
Yeah, I'll have to find a live horse.
It's got to be Lane.
Absolutely.
Does my mic work now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh my god! Holy! I thought I was just getting. I thought my signal wasn't getting through or something. It didn't work on the computer. It works on the phone. What the hell?
How are you?
Were you talking the whole time?
Yeah, I was talking the whole time. Like I was. I thought I was just being ignored for whatever reason.
Oh no! Sorry.
That is actually insane. Oh my god, it doesn't work, dude. It's oh my god. I'm such a boomer when it comes to technology as well. Like I pride myself on being great with technology, but I can't work a microphone, dude. Like what the hell?
It's nice that you're making a late appearance.
Tragic.
Okay, so let me just start back to like 1.5 hours ago. What I was going to say right there. But I can join the conversation, but it's getting so late as well. It's like 1 a.m. Right here in Norway.
Please,
Because
don't let us keep you. I mean, you're an athlete. You got to catch your Zeds.
I'm an athlete, right? I have like 25% body fat. I can't run, but I'm an athlete, sure. Whatever you want to say.
No. Don't undersell yourself. I mean, your recent meet was very impressive.
Thank you. I bulked up a lot. I eat like a pig, basically. Oh, when I come home, I eat so bad, like right now, that I come home to my mother's cooking, like Christmas food. I lose weight when I'm home. I lose weight.
Whoa!
Wow,
that's kind of enviable, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wish I had that.
Well, you could say that, but I try to get in at least like 4,500 to maybe 5,000 a day, trying to gain up to my weight class in powerlifting. But it's been working great. I've gotten like 3 more chins. I've got a little bit more flab. I got a couple of kilos on my total. It's all fun.
So you got like the Inzer 4-ply support gym, right? Like, yeah, cool. That extra little rebound, if you can sort of off the bench just right.
Well, one thing I didn't mention when I was introducing Anders is he's really, really funny. Like, he has these meme compilations, and as you can see, he has a great sense of humor.
Yeah, thank you. Most of my friends just call me autistic, but yeah, I think we're all kind of a bit autistic in the fitness industry after all.
Except for me. But
except for Greg. Greg is the most normal guy I've ever seen. I've ever spoken to. But yeah, that's just it's a bit memey, like with my content. I try to be funny, but sometimes I also try to be serious. So it's about finding the right balance. When I talk about Mike Israetel, it's easy to be funny because there's so much material, but it's not that easy with everyone.
See, Greg, Greg, one thing here
hasn't gone out of their way to bash Mike, and I don't think I ever will because I find him infinitely valuable. It's what in my little group, the team that is Team Evil GSP, we consider that the means of keeping the dog from on the lawn is when there's somebody sufficiently awful, they attract the awful and just keep them out of our sphere. Yeah. So I find people like that very valuable in not just fitness, in every realm. Like there's a reason why there's the generic thing is because there's generic people that want that. So like I don't have any interest.
I was talking with a friend of mine, and if you had to describe Mike Israetel's content in like a single sentence, my single sentence was Google search AI, because it's wrong 80% of the time, and it gives you an AI overview that was half-assed and makes you look at it and go, why did it say this? And you always have to click the links because it's never correct.
I mean, he's always on. He's always chat GPT everything, so it makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
it's a mirror of himself.
Well, this is for Anders. You said, someone said he needs to go to sleep. Let's not forget that Mr. Mike said that 1 hour of sleep, extra hour of sleep,
better
is
than
more
steroids.
potent than anabolic steroids.
It's more potent than trend, dude. It's
and a couple glasses of wine. Well, with that, so you're good.
of course.
An
it
hour of
doesn't-
extra
it doesn't-
sleep
it
that
doesn't
brings you
drink.
from sleeping 2 hours less than you need to 1 less than you need is unreal powerful and comparable to tons of anabolic drugs. That is the direct quote.
An hour of extra sleep that brings you from sleeping 2 hours less than you need to 1 less than you need is unreal powerful and comparable to tons of anabolic drugs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Says the guy on all about anabolic drugs.
Don't worry.
Or
you
you could look at it from my perspective and say gobs of anabolics negates the need for sleep.
Well,
You
didn't
could say that.
Ronnie
Or you
famously
don't
sleep like 4 hours a night? He seemed to do all right.
I
Yeah,
hardly ever slept, man.
Yeah,
when I was
right.
on
Tell
prep,
us
I
about
couldn't
that, Johnny.
sleep, man. Huh?
Tell us about that. Because you did very well as a bodybuilder.
I couldn't, and I would. I
And
remember.
you
I used
slept
to-
a little more, Johnny. Imagine.
I slept.
Imagine
I
how
slept,
many
but
Olympia titles
I would
you'd
get
have.
up. I would take. I remember Greg would have like a Zopicone and give me one, and then I go to sleep. I'd be knocked out. Then I wake up like maybe like 45 minutes later. Then I'm up and I'm like, I might as well do cardio, and do cardio until I had a treadmill in my room, or I'll go to the gym down the down the street at like 2 a.m. and then be like, man, I can't sleep. Then get home, pass out, and like, I finally sleep, and then pop a halo to wake up in the morning.
Oh,
it was
really?
bad. Oh yeah, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that Ronnie Coleman statement about him sleeping 4 hours a day and all that. Well, long story short, if you watch the Shannon Sharp interview, the Club Shay Shay, did y'all watch that?
Yeah, I see the whole interview, but I watched
He
it.
talked about a little bit about how he left being a police officer because they got tired of him taking off. Now,
Yeah.
Peep Game, a lot of us assume he was a cop full time doing all that. He had sponsors, little cheat codes that the average consumer of bodybuilding don't know.
Yeah.
So I grew up working security thinking I'm the next Ronnie. I'm trying to work 12 hours, work out like that. And for the most part, I was. But what they don't tell you is when you get very lean, it's kind of hard to function physically, mentally, and you got to use all that energy for the gym only. He would take time off. We didn't find this out till later. And that was the elephant in the room of why he left being a police officer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Keep game. That's why half truths are very dangerous. Sometimes we don't do it intentionally when we give half truths, but some people do.
That happens so much, like the whole half truth thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, especially, so I guess pre-context, I do a lot of research in like cancer related fields because that's like the kind of laboratory I'm in. And just for purposes of my university, all my opinions are my own. That being said, because I'm employed, that being said, there's this like thing where it's like, oh, there's a cure to cancer or some sort of crap like that, when that's like the half truth because cancer isn't even technically like one disease. And that's half truth makes people literally lose their minds over misinformation. They don't understand what's real and what's not real. And it gives people false hope when there is not hope for something. And it also gives people a false sense of security when it doesn't make any sense. So I hate half truths.
What bothers me more than anything, I think a lot of us know this from experience, being able to take time off from work to focus fully on lifting weights and sleeping is a cheat code the average person don't have. And the body responds differently when you're taking less stress off of you. Your pump's different. Everything hit different. That's why I believe in going to camp, kind of like boxers do. If you're able to afford it, that's why people have sponsors. Now they just throw the sponsor around like discount code. That's not really sponsor, in my opinion. Sponsor is somebody who's going to cover an expense. Like you go for my grocery, this company covers my rent, this company covers that. That way you can do this for time. That's how the greats became great. I came up with the whole ready philosophy because I knew this young. Pretty much the beach body thing. You know, there's a different level of discipline and sacrifice when you're just trying to be beach body lean and fit versus you want every muscle separated, everything full, vascular, tight. All that takes a different kind of commitment, you know. And you got to be aware of that if you're going to step into it, or else it'll stress you out and weigh you down. Next thing you know, the kids are getting on your nerves, wife getting on your nerves, because you don't know everything that come with trying to be that lean, everything that come with being that level of, you know, because there's difference between being 15% body fat, 10%, 5%. This is different levels of energy, commitment, all that we overlook.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of sponsors and stuff, Greg, when you were competing, or did you didn't make money until you started doing more social media stuff?
Yeah. How about you, Greg?
Never really had sponsors until I basically won nationals, and then I got busted for selling steroids, and then I lost that. So not really.
Do you think it's
Canada
has to do with
Can I ask you a question, Greg?
What's that about Canada?
Greg, you're Canadian, yes?
Yeah.
You actually got arrested for anabolics in Canada?
Oh, absolutely. 20 months house arrest, $52,000 fine.
Really? Up until recently, I was under the impression Canada didn't give a huge about that topic.
Well, it would be worse in the United States for sure.
Yeah. On top of that, narco
Class
detect
4 versus class 3. It's legal to have steroids, but you can't sell them.
Okay.
Well, when's the last time you heard of anybody
can't sell them.
getting busted in the U.S. for a year? You know, it almost felt like it's been decriminalized. You know what I mean? Outside of a few rare cases.
Yeah. Every narco detective is on it, so I mean, I don't know how you get busted by it, but maybe it's different in Canada.
Border stuff.
I got caught with some, and they didn't even charge me. They charged me for my weed, but that's when I was 21. They're like, we don't even know what to do with this. Fine, we'll just charge you.
Can I ask you a question, Greg? Would you say when you were doing the steroid selling, was that to supplement your income? Correct.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say having more dispendable income makes the bodybuilding experience not easier at all, but it definitely helps?
I mean, if I had to pay for my gear alone, I don't know if I could have afforded it.
Exactly.
I was a part-time school teacher at the time, part-time school teacher making $30,000 Canadian in a year. It's well, how would I have done that?
Yeah.
Drugs probably cost that much.
That's why I feel like a lot of influencers, especially the competitors, aren't really honest with their following about how expensive this is when you want to compete. Not just financially, just energetically, time away from family, maybe missing that Christmas because you're on a show coming up. You know, so much that you pay into this, not just financially, that people overlook.
I sponsored my whole career, so I when it came to nationals or even pro, I didn't pay for flights, hotels are paid for, food was paid for. And then when it comes to gear and stuff, I was doing my own thing to get that supplement anyway. So. Yeah, I didn't pay. That made it easy. That's why now I want to talk about my life now compared to then. It's not like I said, it's not easy to bodybuild, but it makes it it's a hell of an advantage when all you got to worry about is get up. You got your online clients, your in-person clients. You do that, which isn't that tough. And then you can focus on being an actual living the bodybuilder lifestyle. I got to do that, so to speak, but. Yeah, most people when they talk about bodybuilding, they're not honest about how much free time they actually have to actually do the the bodybuilding lifestyle stuff. But yeah,
agreed.
Do we have any exciting plans over the holiday season, folks?
I'm going down to see some family with my partner, and after that, I'm gonna be doing some more research and hopefully getting settled on what I'm doing for my degree, and then I'm gonna try to do some research into what I'm gonna do for competing, because I do want to at some point. But
powerlifting?
No, in bodybuilding.
Whoa! You could do either. I think you're very strong.
Don't do
it. I'm. The thing is that I have HEDS, so I turned over in bed and I slipped my rib out of place.
Oh, no.
So I don't know how feasible powerlifting is.
Wait. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome?
Yes, hypermobile.
Yeah, right.
You said you rolled over and put your rib out of place?
Yeah, I actually have the scar.
Like you just rolled in bed, gotta roll.
Oh yeah, Ehlers-Danlos, so most women are typically more mobile than men, but hypermobility,
right.
finger can bend back
Right.
to the hand and like just moving.
Oh,
Yeah,
alright.
exactly. Like
Really?
and just basic movement, stuff will just slip out of place.
Damn.
It's rough.
Wow.
I'm probably right on the border of being a disorder. I'm inordinately flexible for a male as old and as muscular as I am. I can still do a full split, both legs.
Whoa.
Christ.
Both ways or just one way? Like
Front
side and
front back, left, right is
Front back,
technically a
okay.
straddle. I could get 3/4
This is so-
without trying, without any practice. If I stretched regularly, yeah, I could.
Yeah,
I
I
literally do zero
So unfair.
stretching, and I could still do a split.
I used to be
It's
able
so
to
fair.
do negatives that like went down all the way. So negative splits are like put your
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Back in Taekwondo, I used to be able to do like full foot negative splits on all three sides. So
Being a strength athlete, I actually fought against flexibility. I tried to be less mobile.
If I drop something on the ground, I have to like evaluate the monetary value of it to me before I decide to pick it up because of how hard it is just to get below the plate of my feet. That's crazy.
Dude,
I know.
I was in
bodybuilding-
the same boat. I had to yank on my hamstrings with like 300 pounds just to be able to touch my toes regularly. I mean, yeah, it's. I'm here. I've been doing so much training trying to get anywhere near a front split.
Yeah, it's again, it's a gift. It's not like some magical knowledge I have. It just is, which I think it is for most people. A good friend of mine, Juji Mufu, same thing. He works hard at it, but just out of the womb, he was more flexible than everyone else.
Yeah, Juju's a freak.
yeah, I would be
he is
terrified.
truly a specimen. He is a unique beast.
Yeah.
And one of the most decent human beings I know.
Yeah, he's nice.
Not that I know many, but he's definitely the most decent human being I know.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm happy to sing his praises as well. I've never met the guy, but why not? Juji Mufu.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah,
he's a good shit.
And
funny.
way his internet persona, you kind of get a silly vibe. Boy, he's intellectual in person. He's really, really smart, deep thinker. Likes to understand things. Great dude.
Yeah. Agreed.
I've heard that multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Maximus, what is your deal?
Next year.
Buddy.
I mean, I know bodybuilders and strength athletes aren't exactly known for leading the most exciting lives.
I
figured I'd ask about the plans anyway. If anyone,
I got
decided
minor
to travel.
bodybuilding plans. I got like I'm doing. I got.
My
No,
family's
no,
either all dead or I
yeah.
wish they were. So yeah, I got nothing.
But see, dude,
No.
that's not true because strength athletes know how to eat. We used to go to when I was taking so many powerlifting meets. They'd often have bodybuilding shows at the same expo center, and it was awesome. Go to the bodybuilding, and there's a bunch of really lean, hungry people eating chicken breast and broccoli, and then you go to powerlifting, and people are eating brisket and donuts between events. It's like, which would you rather do? Right? I always wanted to go to a bodybuilding show at prejudging, just throw like a fresh hot pizza on the stage, and just see who wants it the most.
Well, our holiday.
Yeah, no, strength athletes, I think, by and large, have a much more balanced life because they just lift and they eat a lot. And bodybuilders neurose. They train and they neurose. And that's just their 24/7, 365.
Our holiday event was this weekend. We just met our family. It was our Christmas event. We met my parents out in Vegas with our kid because it's about a 3-hour drive from where we're at. So that's what we were doing. I took my wife to Caesar's Palace Buffet, which she had never had before.
Nice.
Which is one of the most epic experiences.
Vegas buffets are amazing.
If food is any part of your life, it's like that's Mecca. You have to go with like you shell out the money, you just camp out for 2 hours and leave until you can't move. But that's actually where we got back and I just came in here and turned the camera on. But
nice.
One of the funnier earlier there was just like silly stories. One of the funniest stories I could think of is and I don't remember what year it was. It was I think immediately post-pandemic, but I could be wrong. We went to, speaking of Vegas buffets, we went to the Wynn buffet, which is not only nice, but it's swanky.
Oh, yeah.
And we fucking mobbed the place. I'm not joking. It was like 30 of us. It was Juji Mufu, Mike Van Wyck, just a mob of us. And we literally just terrorized the place for like 3 hours. It was an absolute clown show.
Dude, I'm in Vegas every episode to do work with Sergio Oliva out there. We'll do some stuff together. Dude, that is the bodybuilding mecca now. That the gyms out there, the culture,
Vegas?
the lifestyle,
Seriously?
everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've got 5 of the 10 best gyms in America are in Vegas.
Shit.
That was the dungeon. That what the dungeon is.
Yeah,
What's
the
the
you know,
Yes.
the
you know,
Dragon?
Dragon-
Dragon's
Yeah, I heard,
blows,
I
though.
heard.
Dragon's Blood Plexus gym sucks balls. No, you've got like the new Tech gym out there, which is
Yeah.
Place is
Damn.
Yeah.
they flew in engineers and do
Yeah,
like the 60s, 70s, 80s. What's wrong with you're talking about the new Tech, not the torture.
I think so. I'm so out of it, but when we were out there, Charlie, is that the Korean equipment?
Yeah.
Well, there's 2. They're the big one that just opened like 100,000 square feet versus
Okay,
the
not
smaller
that
one.
one.
Which
This
is-
one was much smaller. But I don't know if it is.
It's
Again, it's kind of like weirdly racist, but Charlie's Korean, and he was like, "Oh, there's Korean things," so we all had to go there with garbage. It was absolute
No,
hot
but they
garbage.
have a bigger one. So they've got all their cool. Also have stuff from the 80s and 90s.
Oh.
They've got the old Strive. They got the old school Nautilus, the
Nice.
cheese and shit. So they got a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Hey,
I
New
can get
Tech.
on board with that.
Says called New Tech. We might check that out.
Yeah, it's the new Tech gym. It's definitely the best one in Vegas. I've got 5 other good ones.
Jonathan, I've been like
Yeah.
spoiled with Strive equipment. Me and my partner, we found a little hole in the wall type gym, and they have all of old school equipment, Strive included. Oh my god, it's so nice.
I know they painted it all gold. They call it like the golden era section. It's pretty cool. They redid it pretty good. There's something just so nostalgic about it. I don't know what it is, but it does feel different. You know.
It's nice.
Fair enough.
All right, folks.
Well, cool.
Have we got any concluding remarks?
We're not going to talk about race realism.
Oh,
When you guys get in the comments and ask me questions about race and intelligence, here is my view in perpetuity until politics changes in at least the United States. This is my view as applied forward for the rest of this channel's lifetime until and unless politics really changes. Here it is. Ready? I 100% acknowledge, because I'm literate, that race is truly a biological construct. It is deep. It pervades almost everything. And it has real world differences in ability that are complicated. They are overlapping in spectra, but they are nonetheless for sure real. And they affect every single thing about your life on the margins. If you ask me any more questions about that, I won't say anything because I'm not getting canceled over that. Because in our current political climate, if I fill in the blanks of what I mean, your boy's out. That I'm not ready to, shut down the YouTube yet. But so what I'm saying is, yes, race is real. Yes, race differences exist. Yes, even in every single quality that you think is too politically incorrect to talk about, which is why I'm not going to talk about it.
All I'm gonna say is I love how he begins that conversation with saying because of the current political environment based on biology. that-
Who is this?
Mike.
Oh, did you not see this, Broderick, on his little alternative channel where Mike
Surely not.
explains everything? He basically espoused circa 1800s era race IQ science and said, well, ChatGPT said I'm right. And that he said there is an obvious hierarchy of intelligence among the races. And oh, dude,
it's so bad.
Dude. But that's how far this went. Out of bodybuilding, suddenly you've got people in other fields going, yeah, this guy's just completely. And then of course he deleted the video trying to make it disappear. It's like, no, the internet never forgets, dude. You just should have. Amazing, just amazing.
I had a few students, like a few people from my school, recognize me for that one video specifically.
Oh wow!
Multiple times. It was oh my god. It was a disaster of a video.
I got to say, the most rewarding thing ever, and I'm sure Solomon, you get this way more, is how when you hear somebody say like, "Thank you so much for like helping me realize I was just following this complete and utter nonsense. Like I was having all these issues and I didn't realize it till I saw your stuff." So I think it's kind of funny how he brought us all together.
No, I think I couldn't have picked a better lineup. You guys are all great. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you for your time. Thank you also for your stories, your enthusiasm, and your support. To everyone watching at home, thank you for being a part of this journey, if you like. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a brilliant start to the new year.
One
Christmas
more
in
thing,
Christmas
Solomon. One more
in
thing. I'm sorry,
2026.
Solomon.
One more thing.
Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, my bad. Just want to say thank you, Solomon. You know, your video exposing Mike Israetel, you know, that was beautiful. And people need to see that. People need to see that because we are literally transitioning into a new age. This technology, there's gonna be fake transformations. That Mike Israetel is the tip of the iceberg of what's coming to our future.
For real.
People are gonna be sitting in seats they don't belong in, and you gave them a prime example. And thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you in turn, Chris. That's very kind
Cool.
of you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. My bounced a lot after your video.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got that secondary
Glad
bump
to help
again.
out.
Those videos. From
I don't
2
even
years
know how to
ago.
track things, so I have no idea.
Everyone that clip of him talking about Mike Menser is from my video at his house. That thing. The funny, I told a story with that. The funny thing is like he invited me to his house, and I was like, we're supposed to do workout, and he's like, oh, I'm too tired because some other cat was there, and he's like, why don't we just do a video? So I got a bunch of questions, and we went into his basement. I turned the camera on, and I was just asking question after question. And then we got into that one topic, and that one soundbite has been reused over and over.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting
what was your real time reaction?
It was me. I was being like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay. Like, well, he invited to his like this is the first time I met Mike. This is before he was being like, the way he was. So he was cool. To me, I was like, this guy's cool. And he brought me invited to his house, went to his place. We live like not that far, like about an hour away, whatever, from where I'm originally from. And I pull up to his spot. He's got his place looks beautiful, nice, and it's winter time. We get the Christmas stuff going on. So I went in there. He's hospitality was amazing. So like friendly stuff, right? So I'm in his house and stuff, and he made the comment. I'm just like. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. You can't just laugh out loud. Really.
I was like, all right, like, cool, man. And then he kept going, and then 2 years later, or a year later, that thing is like circulating over and over and over again. So
I've seen it so many places. I've seen so many different channels.
The Dorian was the best.
That came out I was like, oh my god, an original bag of shit is just a big bag of shit. I'm like, oh my god. Hard.
Well, and don't forget that Mike did a video, exercise scientist criticizes Dorian Yates, and went, I just don't think it's that much. Like, yes, Mike, Dorian had trained 8 times a week, he would have won 14 Olympias because that's how training math works. If he'd done double the training, he would have won double the Olympias. Like,
he didn't say anything with Ronnie Coleman. Like, if he would have trained him, like, Ronnie Coleman could have trained once a week and still been like, just stop, man. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman could have done. He could have skipped rope and played patty cakes. Still been Ronnie Coleman.
If you would have just did a long length purge and some, horizontal biceps, you would have had 29-inch arms instead. Anyway,
so an extra hour of sleep.
So we're all very grateful for you, Solomon. That was like I got ADD. I don't have the patience for what you do at all, or the brain. Like, good shit, man. That was surgical. It was surgical, and I don't watch things that long. I watched the whole thing. Like, I got popcorn. I was like, this is
wow. It was maniacally methodic.
It was nuclear and precise.
Yeah, right.
It was like some.
How long did that take?
Yeah, how long did that take?
So I was sort of working on it on the side, like between all of my law stuff, because that obviously takes up a lot of time. So I got his thesis in March, and then I kind of worked on and off on the script for a while.
You have nothing cooking for a minute. Then.
Could you imagine sitting on that heat all week?
Yeah, right.
Just wait, just loading the.
I would have had previews. I would have milking this.
I know to tell a secret to. Shoot, guy, I would have been out already for me. I can't wait for this to get out and did it.
That was so good.
You did it good, man. That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
I think he told me at least a month beforehand. He's like, I'm working on a secret video and I'm not telling anybody, not even you. And I'm like, yeah, that was at least a month.
Pulled it out at the right time. Just like,
oh, yeah.
By the way, Solomon, I just wanted to say thank you for breaking down the data tables the way that you did, because that was like, I was waiting for that part to come out, because it very clearly demonstrates the intellectual dishonesty that was going on there. So
We got to thank. You got to thank Greg for the original beef, because that beef was fun to watch.
It's still going
over and over again. I was really mad that when I saw that whole bullshit, like, hey man, let's be friends, and then he chopped up Lyle and was like, this can't be it. I remember texting him like, that can't be it, man. Like this is can't stop. This needs to continue. So I'm glad you're still putting it to him. So yeah.
Yeah.
Solomon, I think it's important that you did it the way you did, where you kept it secret, because like what actually made it work was his reaction, where he actually did, academic fraud. I think if he had a little advance notice and maybe gotten to like contact his lawyers before he did something, he might have not have done that. He wouldn't have sealed his fate. Because I think, honestly, as good as your video was, I think a lot of people just don't understand what goes into a thesis, and they might have bought some of the lies about, oh, well, it doesn't have to be perfect. No, like if you've actually been in grad school, you know that like a thesis should get way more review than that before it ever even gets to your, it should
have more novelty. That's the key. I think that to me is the key. It should have more novelty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it should be. It shouldn't have like words jammed together. Like you need to have like, that should be fixed before it even gets to the rest of your thesis committee. But the rest of I think a lot of the people would have bought that. But then I think his own reaction to it, where he literally committed academic fraud, kind of that let everyone know, okay, this guy's a liar. And I think it's really good on you that you kept it quiet long enough. And just like exploded on him and made him. That's sorry about that, guys. But anyway, you sprung it on him and made him like do something stupid. He kind of. I mean, he sealed his own fate there, and I think if you'd like let it slip or hadn't done it quite so well, it would have perhaps.
I'm glad you didn't cave too when he charged 30. I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you stood your ground and kept that video up. I'm like, just stay strong. Something's fishy about this. And I'm glad you stuck to it, and f this guy, because I was.
That final draft. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, man, Solomon up.
Really? No.
When he said, I was like,
I couldn't. Even if that.
I was like, wait a second. That seems fishy as hell. That's my first reaction was like, this says he's a liar. Like he got the wrong one.
Well, you know he's scared to know truth. You don't get nervous. Solomon did his research, took his time.
Yeah.
Also, you also don't have your lapdog go out and DM every single person who's made a video on it. Like even I got a DM from Milo. Just like
seriously, he watches my stuff on a daily. I'm like, yo, Milo, what's up, man? I see you. I saw him and he won't say anything. He just sits there like and watches. Like he'll watch like posts. I'll do like a story of my kid. I'm like, Milo, you a fan or something? Like, yeah, say something. Like this guy's just weird.
Know he's in the shadows.
He's annoying. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
The comedy is I didn't even know about any like Solomon. All due respect, I don't. It's not a besmirch. It's just my utter disconnect with the reality. I didn't even know about any of this until weeks after it had been a true thing that I even found out about it. That's how daft I am.
That doesn't make you daft. It means you have your priorities straight. I mean, you've got kids.
No, Broderick, it means you're smart enough to just stay out of this mire of bullshit.
You have to be chronically online to be abreast of all this stuff.
Yeah.
Unemployed, I think, is the term.
That's my superpower. It looks like I'm so decent and impartial, and the reality is I'm just utterly disconnected from all of humanity. I just don't give any. So it works to my advantage, but it's truly a mental illness.
Yeah. Well, it was great. Love it,
folks. Thank you once again for joining me. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a brilliant start to the new year. And I'll see you in 2026.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It was fun, guys.
Happy non-denominational holiday. Don't want to get canceled.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
We should say it at once.
All right.
Peace.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
All y'all. Bye.
I wish I'd been brought up to speed on the hat thing, though. I do feel left out.
Aw. You weren't to know, Broderick.
Thank you so much,
Pleasure
brother.
meeting you all. No, thank you,
You
John.
too. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Alex. It was a pleasure talking. All the best.